From Carolla One Studios in Glendale, California, this is the Adam Carolla Show. Adam's guest today, John Crist, with Gina on news, Bryan on sound effects, and a spirited round of the Rotten Tomatoes game. And now, he's so angry at the Southern Poverty Law Center, declared him a one-man hate group. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. No choice but to get on. Mandate, get it on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling a friend. What's that about you, right, Gina Grad?
That's right.
Handball, Bryan.
Cow blood soup.
Delicious.
I was couple of thoughts. One, I was listening to a podcast that Dr. Drew sent me. He's an economist, and talking about a lot of different subjects. But he brought up the subject of sorting. I didn't know what sorting was, but sorting is sort of people that are like-minded sort of move to the same places and kind of do the same thing.
Sorting.
Right.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorting.
Sorting.
Oh, yeah, sorting.
Okay, sure.
And then I was also thinking about, I was just telling Dr. Drew, I don't know, a few days earlier that when it came time to move out of my garage I was living in at 19 and a half, I didn't have a good job. I was making like $7 an hour doing like day labor work. But I didn't want to move into an apartment in a really shitty part of the valley that maybe I could have afforded. I instead got a couple of guys, and we essentially had 3 dudes move into a 1-bedroom in a nice part of town, or a nice-ish part of town.
Is it the Santa Monica apartment?
No, that came much
that's
later.
Way beyond.
City-ish.
Yeah, it was like North Hollywood, Valley Village, but safe.
Nicer.
Yeah, safer.
How dare you?
Oh, it was
This is way back in the day.
It was 2.5 blocks from where Gina is now. It was on Laurel Canyon and Otsego Street in a small 1-bedroom, no air and all that kind of stuff. But I was like, I would like to live in a safer, because then I won't get my truck. I got my truck stolen a few times, but I won't get the tools stolen from my truck. It'd just be a better, safer place.
A better way of life.
I was sorting.
Sure.
I always would say to people, when you drive through these god-awful places in Sun Valley or something, and you kind of go, why are you living there? And the apartments, first off, you're not paying no rent. You're just paying a lower amount of rent. But why not find a roommate or two and move into a safer place? And so I was thinking about this sorting concept. And then I thought... I was thinking about my Catholic big brother, Nate, little brother. I was the big brother. He lived in Beverly Hills.
What?
He lived in a crappy apartment with his 5 brothers and sisters and a single mom. But his single mom sorted. His single mom said, I want him to go to a good school in a good district. So I'm going to find some apartment that's just outside, inside the boundaries of this good high school. And I will raise my kids there. Then, in the sorting process, and this is another interesting thing, she availed herself of the Catholic Big Brother program. Yeah. She said, my son doesn't have a mentor. There's this Catholic Big Brother program. It's free. I just have to make a couple of phone calls, and I can sign up and get this guy. Didn't cost her anything. It was there.
Right.
But she availed herself of it. She sorted. Yeah. She went and found it. And what this economist was kind of talking about is, it's not that the stuff isn't there. It's just a certain group of Americans and humans don't avail themselves of it. They don't go find it. They don't. It's like this thing's like, we need these programs. Like, they're there. They're not taking advantage of them.
That reminds me, I need to eventually do my unemployment.
and then I started thinking about my own family, and I thought, wait a minute, I used to come home and lay down scholarship letters from decent universities on the kitchen table, and my dad never said a word. So he was not sorting.
Of course.
He was unsorting as well. He could have, if I had my Catholic big, if if my dad was Nate's mom, Nate would have, she would have grabbed the letter and went, this kid can go to school for free at UC Davis.
Let's follow
Maybe
up.
let's make a couple of phone calls here, or at least follow it up. So
the sorting sword works both ways. You sort yourself into that category of, yes, I will attain this, or will attempt to attain this, or you're like, no, we belong here.
Right.
It's a subtle thing. You don't even think it. Right? Probably subconscious.
So then the neighborhoods get sort of sorted. And now all the people living in the neighborhood you don't want to live in are all kind of like-minded. And then your kids grow up with the kids of the like-minded parent or parents of the sorted people. And now you have this sort of cycle that shall take place.
Yeah.
Does sorting apply exclusively to where you live, or is it kind of a lifestyle? Well, the way this economist is explaining
Like it starts off.
I imagine
like
bleeding
even
into other aspects of your life.
So first off, successful people tend to sort naturally. Like this economist was saying, talk to couples that have a 2-year-old, and then this applies to me. Live in Hollywood. Who cares? At some point, the kids turn 5 or 6, and you start thinking about the schools and the friends and the whatever. Now you start picking a neighborhood, and you sort.
Yeah.
So the people in my neighborhood are all sorted, and so my kids' friends are sorted,
right?
Because their families are sorted. So
they're
all
almost pre-approved,
polite and prompt and easy, and they're not starting fires in the backyard.
Well, I think that too. I mean, I sorted myself away from Kansas, and there's, not that there's anything wrong with living there, but the kind of, I did not find like-minded people there that I would be happy at this age still just being in that environment. And the people here are more my type of people.
That is correct. So think about sorting, and then think about, what do you really do about sorting? Because, again, the programs are there. The Catholic Big Brother programs are there. The mentorship programs are there. The library staying open late for the X, Y, and Z.
Take advantage.
Then started talking about also charter schools are sorted, because that's the parents.
That's the whole point.
The parents who want the kids to get the education are the ones that are seeking that out. Right.
I don't know if this is the same thing. I doubt it is, but what you said reminded me when you were like, oh, you're not paying no rent, you're paying less rent, to live in the crappy part of town or whatever, as it pertained to that point in time in that period where you were living. But it reminded me, I think you're the same way, Gina. I don't know if you were the same way, but there was a long stretch of my 20s where, I'd go out to dinner with a girlfriend or whoever, and it was like, oh, I'm going to have to order the chicken or the burger because it's the cheapest thing on the menu. Never mind, I'm still paying for food and another $4. Could I get the steak? No, that's $4 more or $8 more. It's like the mindset of like, I must order the cheapest thing.
Absolutely. And I just took Andy to Perch over the weekend for his birthday, and he'd never been there. I'd been there a few times, and it's a really nice place. I'm sure you've been there.
I've heard of it, actually. Believe it or not, I've been there.
Oh, it's lovely and has a big, view. You're on the top of the building downtown, and I thought about that.
I don't go downtown.
Okay. And I thought, like, this is not cheap, but this is like a good splurge.
It's an occasion.
But then I started saying to myself, like, be more like Bryan, which I do not say very often. Stop thinking of everything as a splurge. I work, he works. We're entitled to go to a nice dinner every now and then. It doesn't have to be, a banner occasion just to treat yourself.
Well, speaking of marriage, I was watching Bewitched this morning.
What do you know?
I learned it all from Bewitched.
I always like Bewitched
Makes
better
sense.
than I Dream of Jeannie.
Yeah.
Is there a big difference?
I don't know. This is
Harem pants.
season 1 with Dick Sargent and maybe not Dick York. But either way, it's all goofy, whatever. But for me, it's interesting because I just examine this is where we were when we were there. Because I always talk about commercials, but sitcoms have to be a reflection of sort of where we're at. Yeah. And starts off with the wife downstairs, and she's making eggs, and she's always up before him, and then she's cooking and pouring him coffee and all that kind of stuff. But at some point after the commercial break, I won't get into all the nuts and bolts, but he was in the newspaper, and she didn't want him to see him in the newspaper.
Okay.
And because it was her sorcery that did it.
Sure.
But he walks downstairs, sits down at the breakfast table. She's got the eggs. She's pouring the coffee. And he goes, "Where's the newspaper?" Because it's her job to go to the end of the driveway, get the newspaper, and by the way, open it up and put it in front of him.
Present it to him.
Now, first off, just the notion, could you guys imagine just sitting down and saying, "Where's the newspaper?" Well, the answer would be, I don't know, it's on the driveway,
on your phone,
wherever. Well, if you need a newspaper, it's wherever the newsboy threw it.
Right.
But his thing is like, I come downstairs, you go fetch the newspaper, you open it up, and you present it to me.
Was this the same show with the overflowing bucket of ice? Was this the same?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We're in the same universe.
We're in the same universe. So also, at some point, they went to a restaurant. And it's also funny, you notice from old sitcoms, they never say, "Oh, honey, tonight I'm taking you to Flounder or Bonita or Perch or wherever he went." They go, "I'm taking you to the best restaurant in town."
Oh,
they never say the name of the restaurant.
There's only one.
So they went there, and she got there before Darren, and she introduced herself to the maitre d' as Mrs. Darren Stevens.
Wow.
Remember that one?
Wow.
You would use you wouldn't say Mrs. Stevens.
No.
And certainly nothing hyphenated. You would use the first name of your husband in your name.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because that is apparently, from what I'm understanding from Facebook groups, still very much how a couple is introduced
Wedding
at the
tradition,
reception. I am not Mrs. Harris. I'm not going to be Mrs. Harris because I don't want to go through all the paperwork. And that would be like starting a new whatever. It's not my thing. So, because they would say like Mr. and Mrs. Andrew Harris, but that's not us.
You're having a non-traditional wedding, say, but ladies and gentlemen, the bride and the groom.
Right, but I was going to say Mr. and Mrs. Gina Grad and Andrew Harris. Is that weird?
That's fucking unacceptable. That's
wow.
completely unacceptable.
True.
That is, wow. Getting your claws in.
Boy.
But that's our names,
meow.
and we're Mr. and Mrs. now. But that's the thing. Do people still do that? Like Mr. and Mrs. Bryan Bishop.
I was radiated. I remember it all.
That's true.
I was drunk. I don't remember either.
Okay.
Dawson says yes.
Yeah, I've actually been at the last few weddings I've been at. The bride and the groom have asked me to get on the microphone and introduce them. And yes, it's
hype
been
man.
Mr. and Mrs.
His
man's
full name?
His name.
Wow.
There's a weird, Christy quoted an unknown tradition that I'm not even sure is a thing. Apparently, you're not supposed to separate the man's name from his whatever, like Mr. and Mrs. Bryan and Christy Bishop. I know, I find it dubious at best.
I had a lot of sweat with these envelopes because I didn't know how to do those things. So wait, what are you supposed to do?
No, when you're
too late now.
introduced. Yeah, the introduction is supposed to now
whatever.
separate the man from his name.
You do it any way you want.
Yeah, do whatever you want.
That's right, even if it's wrong and disrespectful. All right, and an eerie harbinger at the end of the relationship.
My thing is whoever's paying for it decides. So I'm gonna decide.
You paying for it?
Yeah, Andy and I are paying for it.
Well, that's
Our parents aren't paying for it.
Well, yeah, but that's not you. That's you and Andy.
He's easy.
All right, Dawson, you got a mashup of the director's cut of the Mira talking vagina commercial?
Yeah, so we talked to that director on the phone, and commercials go through a lot of editing processes, and he sent us the director's cut, and it's pretty remarkable.
Oh,
all right. This is women doing yoga with the talking vagina as they spread their legs.
right.
All right. Sorry, go back to. I don't know how we stepped on it, but we'll figure it out. All right, you got it?
What's that? I treated my yeast infection with Femiclear. Kills over 99% of yeast. It's all natural and organic. So instead of chemicals, my hoo-ha is full of joy.
Femiclear. Joie de hoo-ha.
It goes through a lot of processes, but that was the original spot right there.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What happened to my feed me?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we thought about that, but Lynch decided
wanna
that it
take
would
the high
complicate
road.
Yeah.
Although I will say, very, very good with the nuance and detail. That is not a fart, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. No, it's not.
Really well done.
Thank you.
Nice. I still like to see a feed me cut. But all right.
I'll talk to the director and see what we can dig up. Maybe he did do the feed me cut.
Go to
as
the
well.
archives. Unearth it.
Now, we're going to do Baldywood in this segment because you got old M. Night Shyamalan, right?
So curious.
Did you see it in the theater to kind of take one for the team, or did you go in with reasonable expectations?
I try and see every. This maybe sounds a little pretentious, but I try and see every movie, at least every big movie or notable movie. And I have genuinely liked some of M. Night Shyamalan's movies. Some I love The Sixth Sense. I think I own it on DVD. So I have guarded high hopes, but. Yeah, we'll see.
Cautious.
All right. Let's intro.
Yeah, give me a second. I wasn't ready for that. I was editing a drop. Sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. I
will
got
say
something
that-
I can talk about.
Oh, and also, Bryan doesn't have a habit of coming in here and shitting on movies.
That's true.
So
I want every movie to be good. I pray that every movie I go to see is
That's
good.
what
I don't
I'm
want to see a
saying.
bad
There
movie.
has to be a sliver of something because he's bringing it up.
You're like the probation officer that hopes everyone goes straight, essentially.
You know it's not going to
Guarded.
happen.
Yeah, cautiously optimistic.
I don't think you can say go straight anymore.
Yeah. Hey, you know what bumper stickers I haven't seen in a long time? Straight but not narrow.
What?
That was
Haven't
a
seen that
popular
one in a
one.
while.
Yeah, college.
All right, Bryan, if you're ready, we can do it. If you're not, I
Do
can
your thing.
I can talk about something else. All right. So for some reason, I was thinking about Michael Richards, and then I was thinking about, God, how long has it been since he blew up on a stage of the Laugh Factory? And we're coming up on the 15th year anniversary.
Wow.
He is not.
Didn't recover.
He did that episode of Cars and Coffee.
Right.
Comedians in cars getting coffee or whatever it
Oh,
is.
with
But
Seinfeld?
I think
Right.
that's a little Seinfeld ringer thing. No, he's been unemployable.
Yeah.
Completely unemployable
Yeah,
for
killed him.
15 years.
Yeah.
But I thought, well, why not revisit me and Gloria Allred and her predictions and my predictions of from 15 years ago about what would happen to Michael Richards' career. Here we go.
I'm going to answer if you will answer my question. I do think it was wrong what he did.
You don't think he should suffer a consequence?
I don't necessarily say he shouldn't. He will and has.
Like what? How has he been punished?
Well, first off, we're talking about what a jackass he is on a national radio
so
show.
that's enough.
Well, some would say it's the ultimate in a certain sense.
Well, I don't know, and I'll tell you why.
Why is giving away money the ultimate punishment? Isn't your name being tarnished the ultimate punishment?
Let me address your issue.
Yes.
That if he's talked about, that's punishment enough. For some people, that enhances their career if they're celebrities. The name recognition alone now is a lot bigger and broader and wider than ever before, and maybe it will actually result, as it did for Hugh Grant, in a lot more career opportunities.
All right, hold on for a
Hugh
second.
Grant had it.
Racist?
I kind of forgot the part where she was not arguing it might not hurt, but arguing it would enhance.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
everyone's talking about him now.
The thing I forgot about that was her argument is pretty specious about Hugh Grant. Like he had a rough go of it. He probably lost a few $1 million on not getting roles for a couple of years, and then he came back to where he was before. But the idea that it enhanced his career, absurd.
Well, and also that
He
was
was a rom-com star.
and that was a prostitute thing, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Different.
All right, but it may enhance his career. But again, it's only been 15 years of non-work and no telephone ringing, but who knows? And yes, my argument is Michael Richards probably has a lot of mailbox money from Seinfeld
Oh, yeah.
and would have happily cut a check 15 years ago and had this whole thing go away versus basically wearing a hair
Yeah,
shirt
a
for the rest
pariah.
of your career.
Yeah.
And by the way,
What career?
we're 15 years in. We're still at the halfway mark. He's got another 15 to go or whenever he dies. But go ahead.
And a lot more career opportunities.
Well, Hugh Grant had an established film career. That's a poor example of somebody whose career was moved along by
No,
being
I'm
with a
saying there's some
transvestite.
people who have come back strong from what appears to be a scandalous situation. I'm sure you would agree with that.
Well, yeah, it's possible, but I think if you asked Michael Richards whether he prefer, or Michael Richards' representation, his publicist or his agents, whether they prefer this incident happen or not, they would course say no.
Well, that's not the question of whether they would prefer it happen. The question is, will it enhance his career?
No.
And we don't know the answer to that
Yes,
yet.
we do.
You're
The
willing
answer
to
is
say
no.
because you've got a crystal ball that I don't have.
No, I have a crystal brain that thinks logically.
Well, you really don't know about these things. So the point is,
Wow.
we'll leave
Anyway.
this
I
up to
do
the
know.
entire judge.
I do know this hasn't helped him, just like O.J. case wasn't helped by what he did.
Well, we're
There's
not
many
accusing
examples
Michael,
of it.
Michael Richards of killing anyone. So there's a little different.
No, I'm saying, look, what he did was wrong, and he deserves to be punished. He is being punished. He's being humiliated.
Well, you think that's... See, I think he's been out there looking for sympathy from the public, but we're looking...
You're looking for money.
He's been concerned, rightfully so, about the damage to his career. Now, we're concerned about the damage to our clients and to the victims. Now, you don't think that people who are African-American who are called the N-word over and over and over again are at all victims, and I understand that's your point of view.
No, I didn't say they weren't victims.
Well, are they or not?
I don't know how to decide who's a victim and who isn't by words that are said to them,
Well,
because
you see, for
that's
me,
up
that's
to
easy.
them. But
For
see,
me,
here's
that's easy. If you call
no, it's not easy. It's not easy. It's easy for you because you want money. But here's the deal: if somebody calls me a cracker and I'm very hurt by that, then maybe I'm a victim. If someone calls me a cracker and it doesn't bother me, then I'm not a victim. So I can't tell you who's a victim. I can tell you who's a victim of arson. I can tell you who's had a bone broken. I can't tell you who's been victimized by words.
Well, then,
that's up to them.
And I would suggest, with all due respect, maybe you need to review a little bit about civil.
Wow.
Civil rights.
It's a weird cut, Max Panna, but
It did that wasn't the cut that I made. So
okay.
that's- yeah.
Anyway, I
Wow.
need to look into slavery.
Have you looked into it?
I did.
And?
Nothing there.
Feel the same way?
Found nothing. Feel exactly the same way. I will stick with my argument. I know she liked to do. Now listen, this is how you have to argue with people, because she wanted to just power pass. Well, you don't know that because you don't have a crystal ball. You don't know. I was like, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I was not. Any sane person knows that this is going to damage his career, or did damage his career.
My favorite part was, well, you do because you want money.
Well, that's what she wants.
Right.
She wants
and you
money.
said, why does the punishment always have to be going into somebody's pocket?
Right.
And that wasn't answered.
Well, anyway, she's insane. But, listen, stupid or liar, I think we'll just go liar on this particular instance.
Or greedy.
Or greedy, willing to lie.
Sure,
if
yeah,
it's going to
there
be
you go.
greedy.
There you go.
Then the interesting analogy or correlation or something that I was thinking about today, which is I was talking to Mark Garagos earlier today, and Mark's got a thing going. They got the Jussie Smollett thing is still out there. And I think it was August 2nd is when they go in, and he'll have some information after August 2nd.
Jussie's playing defense on this one?
He can't speak about the nuts and the bolts because he gets into trouble with this shit all the time. But whatever, Jussie is sticking to his guns.
Yeah, I think this one is the city basically wants to be reimbursed.
So what I was saying to Mark is it's interesting. If you stick around long enough, you'll see everything. Michael Richards has his career destroyed through dropping N-bombs up on stage, and Jussie Smollett, who seems to be the opposite of Michael Richards, will also have his career destroyed by making the accusation that someone did a Michael Richards type thing to him. It's just interesting that we have the straight white guy and we got the gay black guy, and both careers shall be over because that's the way we roll as a society.
I just want to jump in here really quick. There was something wrong with
one for the white team, but go ahead.
There was something wrong with the download. It didn't completely download the file, so Chris did get the right edit. Here's how it ends.
Oh, okay.
You do, maybe you need to review a little bit about civil.
Oh. I thought it was gonna be a queef.
Then that's so weird.
You do,
It's okay, we
maybe
don't
you
need
need
it.
to review a little bit about civil rights.
Okay.
All right. Well, there you go.
Very strange.
I
Then
need
it's my
to
computer
review.
acting up. So it's not Chris.
All right. We got the
Old.
We buy enough for Bollywood here?
Ready to go, man.
Let's do it.
Hooray for Bollywood. He will tell you if a movie's good. Bryan will review the flicks that he's seen up on the big screen or in his Netflix queue. Before you spend bucks, remember his taste sucks. He loved that train wreck piece of shit Transformers 2. Hooray for Bollywood!
Right. Kaylin, got that pick asked for yesterday? All right. No, please don't put it up now. Why would you do that?
That's how they roll.
Checking on to make sure that he has it. Oh, there's a film in theaters now. It is written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan. It stars probably a bunch of people you guys have never heard of. Gael Garcia Bernal.
Oh, I love him.
Oh, there you go.
He's so cute.
He's a very handsome fellow.
Yeah.
Vicky Krieps, Rufus Sewell, and of course, M. Night Shyamalan makes an appearance in this movie.
Oh,
there's an M.
clever.
Night cameo.
Right.
It's good stuff. Fun fact, this is the first M. Night Shyamalan film ever to be filmed entirely outside of Philadelphia. Usually films inside of Philadelphia. 50% on Rotten Tomatoes. And I cannot think of a better place for this movie to sit than precariously perched on the 50% line, falling above or below 50%.
Well, you know, the thing about studying the Rotten Tomatoes data now is you have to kind of try to read between the lines on some of the stuff. But if the critics have it at 50%, and I think the audience has it at 50%.
Oh, I hadn't seen.
Yeah, always good to always check the audience because it'll kind of let you know. It gets rid of a lot of mitigating factors, you know.
Like, this is a fun, crowd-pleasing movie, but the critics hate it.
Right,
not the
right.
case here.
I think the people have it at 51, 49.
Yeah.
When there's
51 and 52.
When they're 51 with
go.
the critics and 52 with the people, so that they're simpatico.
Yeah.
There's agreement.
So you guys are familiar with the plot. It's very well laid out in the trailers, right? This family of four, they go on this magical vacation to this, exotic resort, and they get there and they're loving it. They're in the middle of nowhere. It's a big resort with a lot of people, but they're in the jungle or whatever, the seaside, and the manager comes up to them and at like breakfast, like, "Hey, I like you guys. I'm going to tell you about a secret beach." And they're like, "Oh, please, by all means." Like, it's very private. And they get to this private beach, right? They're taken down there by the hotel shuttle and dropped off. And there's other people from the resort at this beach, maybe like 8 adults and, 3 kids or whatever. And they're like, "Oh, not so secret, it turns out." I think you get from the trailer that, it starts to
I know
age.
nothing about it.
Did you see it? You understand that they're aging rapidly?
Right. But I haven't seen the trailer. But
I'll leave it at that because you're going to find this hard to believe. There is a twist in this movie.
Oh, good.
It's more of a reveal.
Benjamin Button comes out?
No. So as with every M. Night Shyamalan, there's some good stuff and there's some bad stuff in here. The good stuff, I actually found the twist to be kind of interesting. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But then... So, sorry, I should back up one half step. I heard a lot of rumors and reports that the ending was being worked on up until the last minute, like a couple of weeks before the movie was debuted. And it shows, like, the ending feels very focus grouped. Like, there's a cool twist, and you're like, oh, that's interesting. Hope they see this all the way through. And then it's very Hollywood, and it's like, all right, well, they soft pedaled that one. So it's disappointing. But there's some good stuff. Like, M. Night Shyamalan is a talented director. He has the skills of a good director. Think about your favorite scenes from The Sixth Sense or Unbreakable or any of his movies. There's good stuff in there. Unfortunately, the writing is absurd in this movie, as it is with most of his movies. I don't understand why he insists on writing most of his own movies, but so one of the conceits, actually, we have a clip, right? Did I send you guys a clip?
This thing's not, is this thing based? It feels like it's based on a story or
on
a book.
On a Swiss graphic novel. I don't know much about
feels
it, but
based
it's
on
adapted
something.
from a Swiss graphic novel. Okay, so here, a couple of the people, so the people on the island have just discovered a dead body. And 2 of the other adults, not parents of these kids, but 2 of the other adults are going to try and talk to these kids and put their minds at ease and really calm them down. One of them is a therapist. It's pretty subtle. See if you can detect which one is the therapist. Okay. But here are the 2 other strangers trying to talk to the kids, and the mom's going to come in, and you'll get the idea.
Everything's going to be okay. What's your name?
I'm Trent. This is my sister, Maddox.
How old are you guys?
I'll guess I'm good at this. You're 11, right, Trent?
I'm 6.
No. Really, are you 10, 11?
He's not lying. He's 6.
I'm specifically 6 1/4. She's 11.
They're feeling unsafe. There is a lot going on here.
They're playing with us. Let's leave it.
They can hear you.
Have you seen my children?
Is everyone trying to play a joke on us?
What?
Aren't these your children?
I'm right here, Mom.
So after they're on a secret,
I'm intrigued.
They're on a secret deserted beach with 7 adults and 3 children,
Right.
all of whom you can see. It's a very small beach, and yet their children aged 4 years and 10 minutes. That's admittedly very strange, unrecognizable to the mom. Adam,
Here's where the pictures come in.
you have kids. Here's a picture of them at 6 and a picture at 10. Unrecognizable? Do you know who you're looking at?
Jeez,
Which one's the?
They're sitting next to a planter that looks like one that used to be from my old house. So I'm going to say the 10-year-olds are my kids, but probably just because I recognize the planter.
Yeah, this is from Instagram, so I can't say for sure. But yeah, maybe the mom could be a little surprised or like shocked, even like, "Oh my God, what happened to you?" There's a lot of throughout the movie. They're like, "The kids are being affected. Something's affecting the kids." Yeah, no shit.
Right.
They got
Move
taller.
on. Oh my God, it's just it's very clunky.
It's
at
also
times.
they discovered a body, right?
Yes.
And so the adults are going to have to explain to the possibly traumatized kids what happened, or try to put them at ease.
Sure.
It seemed weird that the guy's like, "Let me guess your age."
Right.
That's my thing. I'm an age guesser.
Yeah.
It's like a weird piece to slide
it served
into
the
that.
plot completely. It was
Right.
not natural dialogue. But then there's a cool shot from where the body 10 minutes later is completely decomposed, like over what should take 7 years, and the shot is from like inside the skeleton up at the shocked people. That's a cool shot. Like, he has talent. I don't understand why he gets in his own way.
Well, and even the clip you just showed us, even though, just listening to it didn't sound like a lot was going on, the way that was shot and not seeing the kids, I was like, oh, that has a little Twilight Zone feel to it. I like that. But worth it, not worth it?
So this is not a good movie. It's a watchable movie. It's maybe an enjoyable movie. This is a good rental. They do not rush out to see this. But if this pops up on HBO or Amazon Prime or whatever, this is a solid $3. You won't be bored.
Does he? I feel like M. Night just needs sort of, in the comedy world, there's just punch-up guys. You know what I mean? They help out with the jokes, the dialogue, and that kind of stuff. Does he just need someone to kind of shepherd him through the actual dialogue?
100% yes. He should direct other people's scripts because, like I said, the guy can direct. He can move the camera. He can frame the camera. He can do it all. Why doesn't he do other genres? Why does he only do thrillers? You know what I mean? Like, why doesn't he do a comedy? The aforementioned comedy. Why doesn't he do a documentary?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, first off,
he's pitted himself into this corner. You know what I mean? He's like,
right.
He's the thriller guy who's got to have the twist.
Well, I can't help but think of Jordan Peele and how Get Out was this celebrated, it was amazing.
He should have pivoted immediately.
Right. And then Us, which I know you were not a huge fan of, I was, it was a letdown after something so incredible like Get Out. So I'm just kind of wondering if there's a parallel there, if he's going to, heed Shyamalan's.
The examples are in front of you.
Yeah.
So anyway, not a good movie, but worth checking out if it's on TV, HBO. Like I said, you won't be bored, and there's enough good stuff to make you laugh.
Okay.
Hooray for Bollywood!
All right, let me tell you about Simply Safe. Remember the safe, secure feeling as a kid getting tucked into bed? Well, I don't, but maybe you do. Well, feeling of security only comes through human connection, and that's why people at Simply Safe, the people, the good folks at Simply Safe Home Security are so important. Simply Safe has award-winning systems and all the tech you'd expect, but it's the people at Simply Safe that take it to the next level. Whether it's fire, burglary, medical emergency, a burst pipe, a problem setting up the system, Simply Safe has a person with the expertise you need to help you 24/7. To find out how Simply Safe, 2 eyes in there, Simply Safe, can help make you feel safe and secure at home, visit simplysafe.com/Adam. Do it today. Customize your system and get a free security camera. That's simplysafe.com/Adam today.
Unrecognizable to the mom.
Well, you're also right in a beach setting where they've already basically taken a tally and a head count of who is on this beach.
It's 85 yards long.
Right. Then who would these new preteens be?
Who look remarkably like your own children. You should be shocked. Don't get me wrong, but unrecognizable.
And the kids have never looked at each other. They never stole a glance and said, "Wait, you look different. You look different."
I think there is a line like that later, but up till then,
Okay.
it's supposed to be sort of a shocking reveal.
Okay.
All right, we'll take a break. We got the Rotten Tomatoes game, by the way, to play, and we'll do that right after this.
Do you want to be a part of Adam's next book?
Shit, yeah!
Submit your questions for Ask an Asshole by emailing them to askhole@adamcarolla.com. Please include your name, age, and location. Ask about any topic you need the Ace Man's advice or answers on. That's ASKHOLE@adamcarolla.com.
All right, so we got the Rotten Tomatoes game to play. Also, I should tell you guys who are maybe planning on coming out, the Rolex Historics are on this year.
Right.
I'll be in Run Group 3A.
Is it full? Is it full go? Is it the quail and all that shit?
Yeah,
animals,
it seems
anything?
to be 100% on, but who knows with Delta variants and stuff like that.
So
Although,
many shrimp tails.
so that's all go. I think everything will be at a full capacity. I'll be driving a Newman's 911 that is known, at least throughout the garage, as the pink Porsche. It's a Porsche that's got a lot of pink in it. And it's driven by Paul Newman at Sebring in 1977.
Nice.
The 12 hours of Sebring, not too successfully. I think it came in like 30th place or something like that.
You're going to up that score.
Yeah, I might go in the mid-20s with that
Take
bad
that.
boy.
Weird question, possibly, but because I'm, thinking a lot about diet and stuff right now, I'm on this fakakta thing I'm doing. Do you feel like you have to diet before because the cars are so teeny tiny?
Yes,
Really insulting.
there's a couple of things. I was thinking about this yesterday. You're 100% correct. The first move is you think the fire suit is slimming until you try to fasten this kind of Velcro waist. It's not really a belt, it's just the two straps of Velcro and stuff that go in front, sort of pulled in. When you have a little trouble getting ends to meet, you'll feel it. And also, there's nothing smaller than a race seat. They're like 11 inches wide at the bottom, and they come up so high, and there's no padding on them. And Paul Newman was
No room for spillage.
Yeah, Paul Newman that guy could have been 148 pounds.
Old
Like
man.
he was a little and always fit. So when you climb into his cars, you can feel you feel the pinch immediately, and also
Not a little $1,000 dressing.
you feel yourself like when you're trying to. This car has a door that opens, so you don't have to crawl in through the window, which you can always feel the pinch on. So. I will be Max Zapata. Can you find that car, that Newman 911 pink car? There it is. It's a good looking car. It's white. It's got a lot of pink on it.
That's no Dawson.
We'll put it up on AdamCarolla.com. And so now we're just trying to dial it in and do all the shit you're supposed to do.
Do you not have headlights?
No, they would cover the headlights unless it was an endurance race, which then would go on to the night. So what a lot of cars would have is they would have, not this car per se, but some of my other cars, they have a front clip that has like decals where the headlights are and nothing there. And that's for all. You're going to Road Atlanta. The race starts at 1 and it goes till 4 in the afternoon. So why the wait?
Right.
Why do we need the wait? But then when they would go to the 24 Hours of Daytona or Le Mans, they would have a different front end that would clip on, and they would plug in the headlights and all the driving lights and stuff, because at Le Mans, you'd be going down the Mulsanne Street at 4 in the morning and it would be raining and it would just be pitch black. So you'd have to have lights that worked back then. All right, the Rotten Tomatoes game. Why don't we cue that up, and then I'll bring on our guest.
listen to that noise. It's a high falsetto voice that can only mean one thing, and you can feel it.
Dawson names her flicks, and the gang makes their picks, guessing if it's rotten or fresh.
If they guess it exactly, we'll get a bonus 5.
It's the Rotten Tomatoes game. You know how we do it. Give me the Rotten Tomatoes game. Now it's time to play it.
All right. Chip Hanson is going to join us. He's the chairman and CEO of JB Weld. So we'll do a little do a little JB Weld love in integrated into our game. Chip.
Hi, guys. How you
Hi,
doing?
Guy. Good. How you doing, Chip?
I am doing great.
Thanks for all the JB Weld product. It's been put here in the front desk, and people have been pilfering it.
Mm-hmm.
You should know. Gina stole some.
I sure did.
Because I look at it as mine.
Right.
Dawson took some yesterday to repair some holes in a fence post, a vinyl fence post. So thanks for the love. So Chip, you know the game is played.
Yes. Yep. I do, and I've listened several times to your Rotten Tomatoes game, and looking forward to it.
Oh.
All right. Well, you're on the honor system. We'll write down our scores, and then I think we'll ask you first what your score is after we write ours down. All right. All right. Here we go.
And again,
Dawson.
zero is really bad, and 100 is good, right?
Exactly.
Is that the scale?
That is. It's just like pubic lice. Yeah, don't think of golf.
Yeah.
Think of pubic lice.
0 is the best.
0 is what you're aiming for. It's unobtainable.
Right.
We'll never get
It's
there.
aspirational.
But that's what you're aiming for. So it'd be the opposite of crabs.
Right.
Oh, so, okay. The critics then are giving a 0 for a good movie score and then 100 for a bad? Is that, is that what I'm doing?
Be the opposite of pubic
Okay.
lice. All right. Sorry.
Well, I don't want any of that.
No.
That's 0.
This week,
good.
the Rotten Tomatoes game is brought to you by JB Weld, world's strongest bond. First up, we got to mention JB Weld's original cold weld 2-part epoxy system, which provides strong, lasting repairs to metal and multiple surfaces. It comes with 2 tubes, so they call it the twin tube. And in honor of those twins, let's talk about the unlikely duo of Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito, who played fraternal twins, separated at birth in this 1988 comedy directed by Ivan Reitman. Twins.
I have no idea how to fairly judge this because I loved this movie when I was a kid.
Same for me.
I was a little too old for this movie when it came out, and it was one of those movies where they kind of kept like, oh, yeah, this is super funny. It's like, is it? Is it, though?
Yeah.
Is it really funny?
I couldn't tell you.
I'm watching Albert Brooks movies at this point in my life. Is this? I'm watching Woody Allen and Albert Brooks. How funny is this movie?
Point taken.
Chip, did you see Twins?
Yeah, I did. I'm torn.
Don't put a
I
score
think,
out.
like
Hold
Gina
on.
mentioned. I'll give it
Hold on.
Hold on. 82.
All right.
Okay.
It could go no other way.
That's okay.
All right. But listen, we're going to let Chip affect us. Now, Chip, you got to wait for us.
Not.
You got to let us write our shit down first.
I'm not affected by Chip.
Okay.
All right. All right. I'm locked in. Bryan, you good?
My hunch is that the critics punished Schwarzenegger a little bit for daring to venture into comedy. Keep in mind, this is a year after The Running Man and Predator, 87. So he was known as that guy. He wasn't Arnold Schwarzenegger, the transcendent movie star that he became in the early 90s. So my guess is 44.
Yeah, I hope I went too low because, again, love this movie. John Travolta's wife, a pivotal part of this movie. What's her name?
Kelly.
Kelly.
Preston,
Yeah, Kelly Preston.
Right.
Thank you.
Kelly Preston.
I loved it. I think I was alone other than Bryan. I said 36.
I think I went too high at 51.
Twins is rotten.
Come on.
At 43%.
Oh, man.
What'd you say?
44.
Okay.
Next, we're featuring J.B. Weld's Quick Wood Epoxy Putty. Great for screw holes in the window and door frames, insect damage, or repairing furniture and carvings. Make sure you have some with you when you enter The Cabin in the Woods from the 2011 horror comedy, The Cabin in the Woods.
Now, I think Bryan really liked this.
I love this movie.
This is a great movie.
Truly one of my favorite movies of the last 10 years.
I saw it. Maybe Bryan built it up too big for me, but it just didn't grab me. Like I just
Really?
didn't. It just maybe I'd let it. I should have seen it.
It's
in the
legitimately
theater.
funny. When all, spoiler alert, at the end, when there's a rush of characters, very funny.
All right, so Bryan loved this movie. I think the critics like the genre of this.
Joss Whedon?
Yes.
Chip, did you see this movie?
No, I don't recall it. I think I was working too much that year.
I think that'll probably help you in your prognosticating. All right, hold on. Don't give an answer yet. Let's see. I could be tainted by how much Paul Bryan loved this movie.
I could be tainted by how much Paul Bryan liked this movie.
That's true. All right, I'm locked in. Is everyone locked in?
Yep.
Chip, how say you?
I'm going to go real low, 29.
I almost went with the inverse, 91.
Yeah, this movie seemed to be beloved, critical acclaim. I said 89.
I said 83.
The Cabin in the Woods is certified fresh at 92%.
It's got a robust score of 2 so far.
This is weird because the people have it at 74, which is sort of the way I saw it. But I think the critics really like the genre breaking, the bending of the genre.
Totally.
You've heard us mention that J.B. Weld recently acquired Herculiner, the world's strongest truck bed liner. Well, the product is clearly named after the son of Zeus, and there have been more than a couple movies made about him. Most people probably think of the Disney animated classic, but let's not forget that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson played him in this action-adventure film that made $245 million on a $100 million budget, directed by Brett Ratner, released in 2014. Hercules.
I don't recall this ever happening. Is that Angelina Jolie?
No.
A lookalike.
I mean, she would get top billing if it was.
Okay. I don't remember this.
This feels like those dollars were international dollars,
For
right?
sure.
2014's late, too. He already starred in a Fast and the Furious by then, I think.
Ooh, I don't know if he was in that franchise by then. I'll have to figure it out.
Look at the little picture underneath with the lion smacking a dude.
He's fighting a lion.
What's happening?
I didn't even know this movie came out.
Yeah, me neither. Brett Ratner, that's a notable director. That's unfortunate. That doesn't give me...
All right. Yeah, Chip, I'm not going to ask if you saw this one, but hold on a second. All right, this couldn't have been good. But how bad was it? I didn't even know this movie existed. All right, Bryan, you in?
Yep.
Gina, in?
Yep.
Chip, how say you?
I think it was really rotten. I'll give it 18.
Oh.
Like an idiot, I went with 39. God, there goes my score.
I went 19.
35.
Hercules is rotten, but barely at 58%.
Oh.
Well, Bryan, not so bad. I guess Brett Ratner knows what he's doing.
He makes serviceable movies. Red Dragon was all right.
Jesus Christ. All right.
Did you guys know that J.B. Weld makes a light-activated super weld?
Mm-hmm.
It comes with an instant cure light activator, which provides an instant bond within seconds. And you know there's something else out there that solidifies when exposed to light and actually turns to stone. A vampire. More specifically, the ones in this spooky hunt fest, co-starring Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Antonio Banderas, and Christian Slater.
Kirsten Dunst.
Adapted from the bestseller of the same name from 1994, Interview with the Vampire.
So you know how Bryan's always saying, "Oh, I became a man to fill in the blank."
Mm-hmm.
Every girl I know became a woman to this movie.
This is gay erotica.
By the way, I thought this movie was called Interview with a Vampire my entire life up until 8 seconds ago. I never said the vampire. Did anyone?
Wait, Interview with a Vampire.
I thought it was A as well.
Yes,
Really?
you're right. You're right. Yes.
I always just said Interview with a Vampire.
Interview with a Vampire.
I've never heard. I just said but I never
Interview
heard
with a Vampire.
or maybe I did, and I just converted it.
Interview with a Vampire.
Well, with the is kind of what,
Yeah.
what I forgot the term is, but you roll right into the A.
Yeah.
Interview with a Vampire. That's how I would say it.
I think yes.
Remember the controversy about this?
Yes, but what was it?
I think it was the gay content. I think a lot of parts of the country had problems with there's a lot of not so subtle imagery and
fantastic.
All right, so this is. Everyone knew this movie. It was a huge movie. I think I've seen parts of it, but I don't know if it was good or not. It was just back in the day when a movie came out and everyone knew what it was, but no one really talked about the quality
good point.
of it. I don't know,
this
but
is tough.
I'll tell you, I feel like Brian's got a lead, and some of us are going to have to get dead nuts on here as we roll into this round.
I gotta think.
I got to think, too.
Have you guys seen this?
Just like
Not since then.
bits and pieces.
I saw it like on VHS when it came out.
Mm-hmm. What'd you think?
Pretty hot.
All right.
Hold on. I just got to figure out if it's rotten or fresh.
I can't figure that one out either.
Shit. No. Okay. I'm in.
All right, I'm in. All right, Chip, how say you?
I don't remember this thing being very critically acclaimed, so I'm going to go 36.
Brian?
I think this was okay. I said 62.
I said 61.
63.
Wow.
Again.
Somebody's on the nose.
Come on.
Doesn't really matter.
Fuck you.
Interview with the Vampire is fresh at 63.
Oh, wow.
All right. Was it
gained,
enough?
You gained 6 points on me.
And finally, JB Weld's Clear Weld is designed to cure with a clear, transparent bond. It's great for most surfaces, including tile, plastic, ceramic, glass, wood, and metal. And since it's clear, well, you can see right through it. Just like the scientist turned villain, played by Kevin Bacon, whose sense of morality goes out the window after developing a serum that makes him completely invisible to the naked eye. Co-starring Elizabeth Shue and Josh Brolin, and directed by RoboCop and Starship Troopers. Paul Verhoeven from 2000, Hollow Man.
Is this a comedy?
It's very funny. It's very funny. I saw this at a preview screening in Santa Monica, like before it came out.
What year, sorry?
2000.
Oh,
2000. Mm-hmm. Now, we should all be rooting for Chip because he's playing for the Children's Hospital of Encina.
Oh.
I feel bad
now. You tell us.
Now I feel bad.
Yeah.
How do the kids feel, Chip?
Yeah, you didn't tell me that before. I would have cheated.
I didn't want to put the pressure on you, Chip, but
Too late.
Too late. All right, let's see.
Oh boy.
Yeah, this movie wasn't good, but was it bad? And didn't Paul Verhoeven do Showgirls as well? Is that him?
No, you're thinking of Joe Esterhaus, who wrote Showgirls.
Right.
I mean, I don't know.
He wrote Basic Instinct, which I think Paul Verhoeven directed.
Oh, maybe
Wow,
that.
There's a
Brian.
connection.
Paul Verhoeven did direct Showgirls.
How did you know that?
Sorry, buddy.
Oh, okay.
No, I whiffed on that one.
How did you know that?
I'm obsessed with that movie because it's an insane movie.
Great movie.
It's nuts.
Yes.
That movie is nuts.
It's phenomenal.
And so anyone who is in the room for those scenes, I marvel at it. I don't like quality. I like insanity.
Nope. Then you hit the right movie.
Yes.
All right, let's do this.
All right. Oh, boy. No, come on, Gina. You're our only savior here. I got to go in and get my chakras realigned or something because I've been way off the pace the last 3 or 4 times we played this game. I've been nowhere close.
Center yourself, buddy. When you're up in Pebble Beach, take a moment.
I got
Look at the ocean. Throw some rocks in the ocean.
What do they call that when the second baseman can't throw it to the front? The yips?
You got the yips.
I got the yips, man.
You're rubbing your head.
I'm
you're
like
Chuck Knobloch right now.
Yeah, or what's his name for the Dodgers? I'm doing
Sachs?
Sachs. Yeah, Steve Sachs.
Is it Steve Sachs?
I'm doing like a double clutch, and I'm bouncing the ball to the first baseman, and I'm 10 feet away. Like I'm up in my head, man.
Texas leaguer, you fucking throw it into the third row.
Right. I can't. All right. What the hell is this movie? Okay. I'm in. Chip?
I'll go 34 on this one.
Oh.
I'm here to tell you, as someone who's seen this movie, it's bad, but it's not that bad. It's like M. Night Shyamalan quality. It's watchable, it's fun, it's silly, it's stupid. I said 48.
Ooh, I said 31.
I said 31 as well.
Going to be a tight game. Hollow Man is rotten at 27.
And I was going to say 29.
But the audience has it at 28.
Yeah.
right.
Gina may have picked up a little ground there. What'd you do, Brian?
48.
Ooh. This could be a little comeback for Gina.
Yep.
All right, Chip, you may be in charge of the world's strongest bond, but you are not the world's strongest Rotten Tomatoes player. But if we were going for high scores, you would take the cake in fourth place at 175.
Whoa! That's a new high.
Yeah, I need to stick with my day job.
We have to say congratulations to Gina Grad, consecutively on the podium once again. Congratulations. Adam Carolla, your score of 62 puts you firmly in third place.
I thought it was further off than that.
Gina Grad, your score of 32.
That's a really good score, actually.
Very, very good.
Thank you.
Yep.
Almost cut the Ace Man's in half. But then again, that leaves us Bald Bryan.
Here we go.
Congratulations is in order to Bald Bryan.
Be more like Bryan.
With your score of 43 puts you in second place.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Gina Grad, with the win.
Thank you.
Wow, Gina, you snatched that from the jaws of defeat,
Thank you.
man.
That feels really good. Thanks, guys.
Doesn't feel good at all, actually. Hurtful.
Well, I'll tell you guys about JB Weld, world's strongest bond. It is JB Weld. If you do DIY projects, you need some JB Weld. Work on automotive, crafts, plumbing, marine, and more. And you use it on metal, wood, plastics, glass, ceramic. I've done my son's tennis shoe. I did some stonework in front of my house. Used JB Weld and also fixed my daughter's weird freezer roller thing, handle, whatever Gina calls it. I've blocked it from my mind.
Cold roller.
Cold roller. It's right in the title. JB Weld, and also I should tell you, acquired a Herculiner, the original DIY truck bed liner. So if you're looking for the world's strongest bond and the world's strongest truck bed liner, Herculiner has you covered. It's JB Weld, right, Dawson?
JB Weld is available at jbweld.com, Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, AutoZone, Advance Auto Parts, Napa, O'Reilly, Amazon, Michaels, and more. And remember, JB Weld epoxy products are proudly made in the USA. JB Weld, world's strongest bond.
Hey, Chip, are you guys going out to SEMA this year?
Yes. In fact, I'm glad that they're going to have a live show. Yes. So we'll be there.
Yeah, I think, when is that? Toward the end of the year? September or something?
First week of November. I think November 2nd through the 4th, but the first week of November for sure. I don't know the exact days, but
yeah, November 2nd.
It's going to be
all right.
Yeah, 2nd through 4th. Yep, we'll be there.
All right, get some ice for the cooler, and I'll swing by the booth.
I look forward to it. Look forward to seeing live people again.
Thanks, Chip. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
All right, let's see. We got comedian John Crist who's coming in here. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back with John right after this.
It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Hey, Adam, this is Tim from down here in Orange County. I heard you say many times over the years on the show that 69ing is something that you'll never do again, and I just want to let you know, especially since you'll be single here, I will 69 you as soon as you're ready, so hit me up. Talk to you.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I had
Really
that.
nice.
I had that thought. I was passing a park and saw guys in a pickup game out on the blacktop, and I thought, I don't think I'll ever do that again. And then I thought, saw a couple 69ing
Right.
in the same park.
It's a busy day.
And I said, I got next. I took my shirt off because we're skins. And I said, I may not be doing any more of that. John Crist is here. He's going to be doing shows. He's got Toledo, Ohio. He's got Augusta, Georgia. He's got Melbourne. Is it Melbourne, Florida? Did I say that right?
We'll figure it out when we get down there.
And he's got stand-up dates all over the place. Good to see you, John.
What's happening? I think one of my buddies has a joke about 69. He goes, "Who invented that?" He's like, "What guy has been like, you know what I could use right now? A task."
Well said.
I mean, he's like, you know what I could add to this? Nobody ever.
Yeah, I agree. I feel that. I mean, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how the ladies feel about the 69.
I don't think anybody is like, that's my ultimate.
Yeah, I don't. You're right.
It's like a cool thing for like a joke for guys, but it's not.
It's like we've talked about the threesome. Like it really is just more hassle. It's working harder, not smarter.
It's kind of like, oh, here's a sandwich. Thanks. Now kick this soccer ball.
Right.
And you go, well,
I just want to enjoy the
One at a
sandwich.
I want to enjoy
time.
the sandwich, and then I can go kick
I
the
want
soccer
to lay
ball.
back and enjoy the sandwich.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's like Bald's story about the clown at the when your buddies.
Oh
at the,
my God, the
stripper.
bachelor party.
And he's like, this is not you. Like, let's do it. And then you're like, oh, it's not. Let's not do
Hey,
this.
we got a clown. And
That's terrible.
Then what?
John, you been to any bad bachelor parties?
Oh man, I'm not the one to ever. I don't like to plan them. But nobody.
Nobody
Can we all
wants
just be like, hey, let's just not do it? Because I heard the story about y'all's, and it's like it's not. Can we just like it all has to be like very, very masculine. Like Vegas has like they have like Tonka trucks that are
Like life size?
Yeah, that you can actually like forklifts. You can go. That's how like not manly people. Let's go like drive a forklift like a cat. That's what guys do for fun now.
Cat,
Oh,
caterpillar.
Yeah, like a cat. Like let's go like move some dirt.
excavator.
And that's like a fun thing to do in Vegas.
Oh, really? That's a thing?
Yes, dude.
there's like an open field.
Because
where you
that's
can
how much
dig.
guys are not men.
So it's like a blue collar,
like for
tough mudder.
Like a fantasy
Well,
camp.
it's more for pussies who want to go out for an hour.
Yeah.
and
No, I don't
we
mean
never-
I don't mean no blue collar guy would do this.
No,
Not on
I'm
their day
saying
off.
it's just like
Guys like me.
It's an obstacle course for people who don't have obstacles in their life.
Right.
Well
They also do the same thing. They also do Tommy guns. In
Yeah, well,
Vegas.
that's something at least.
But like it's very like ready. All you have to do is click
They
it.
have
You don't do
backhoes and
anything.
excavators.
I always say like those. You know
Really?
those like we have those like white people have those like adventure races. It used to be just a 5K. Now they're like we're gonna crawl through mud and we're gonna
Yeah,
we're
it's a
like
tough mudder,
in like a
yeah.
third world country. That's like a Thursday.
Yeah,
It's
that's how
like,
you get to the well.
yeah, like what's that fun? How's this entertainment?
Well, it's good that it's good as a civilization when you're essentially creating obstacles because none really exist. It's the
That's
way
a
I
good-
feel
that's a good
about
point.
I feel the same way about race hoaxes. Like, oh, good, we have to make them up now. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
There's been a couple.
We've come a long way.
Or we have to invent some kind of something to overcome. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that our nature is to push against something, to overcome something, and so we will create it if it's not there. Now,
Make something up,
we have like half of our society is busily at work trying to get rid of all obstacles, and then the other half is there trying to dream them up.
Yeah.
Perfect.
You can talk again, like you can talk to people. You'll know who these people are because when they're discussing their schedule, they're making a 10-course meal out of something. It's like, I got to get up. I got to put my slippers on. Then I got to get dressed. Then I have to go down and get to USA Today. Then
It's gonna be tough.
At some point, I got to get to the Trader Joe's. I don't know when in between putting slippers on.
I said on my show this weekend, I was up in Albany, and I just go, we got to, this is probably a topic you guys have talked about. We're like, we got to stop with these grown men going to like a Free Britney rally. Like I said, your grandfather fought in World War II, and you're like, it's her circus. Like,
right.
Stop being toxic.
What? Yeah, or like, you know, she's not a girl, not yet a free woman.
That's
like,
good.
and these men are crying, like grown, and I'm not gender, I don't care about that. We're like, dude, I go, not one of these people has a job. You're not.
I was just talking about that. Round them up, man.
You're not going at your CPA or an accountant and say, hey, can I get off for the afternoon?
Right. I got to go down to the courthouse.
No, dude.
Yeah, look, I would be free Britney, or we're waiting for the results of the OJ trial. Like, hey, man, it's noon. It's Thursday. What the fuck is everyone doing?
It's like Twitter. What are you doing on here?
I was at the verdict for the OJ trial.
Protesting?
I was working. I had
the don't squeeze the juice sign.
I had been dispatched by K-Rock to go down there and cover it. But I'm always amazed. But look, I feel the same way when you walk into a Starbucks at noon on a Wednesday and it's just packed with people. Like, what is going on with the schedule?
Writing like they're at their computers like, you're not doing anything. Like the guy that like is going to overcome cancer is not like, you know where this would be better? Let me go into a Jamba Juice and maybe he's like, Steve Jobs was in his garage alone for like
tinkering.
Yeah, he didn't want all that stuff. Like nothing good is happening at a Starbucks.
That's a really good point. I'd like to know the best script or scripts that have been written at a Starbucks.
Schindler's List was wrote at a Barney's Beanery. At a Barney's.
I realized that. No kidding. Wow.
Also,
well, it was adapted. You have to admit it was a little easier. Come on.
Based on a true story.
I can't figure out what the Starbucks is simulating. Like, do you have a folding chair in your apartment and a
buzzing
coffee
noise
table or something? Like, why? What do we need? Like,
great point.
Once in a while, you see people and they work out at the park, but they don't have acreage at home. You know what I mean? Like, they can't run laps.
They have a track.
They have a small apartment in Van Nuys. There's shit that people do in places where you go, okay,
maybe Wi-Fi.
Yeah, but is
that hard to come by?
Wi-Fi.
You have a coffee maker. You have your laptop.
Yeah.
Go the fuck to town in your own apartment.
Let's say you were trying to build a business or whatever, and it took 90 minutes of work a day or 2 hours of work. I'm a writing and I focus for that 90 minutes, so then I can do whatever I want the rest of the day. You wouldn't sit at a Starbucks for 6 hours.
It seems very leisurely.
Yeah, very. Yeah.
Also, I feel the same way for people who sort of camp out at the bookstore.
What are you doing?
What's going on?
They do have good chairs.
Yeah. But I mean, look,
that's true.
Better chairs
you
than
can
I have.
sit at a bus stop for free, technically,
Yes,
but
you
I don't
can.
think that's a good use of your time. Well, it's a free bench. I could hang out here. I don't feel like it's a good use of your time.
No,
I think all the stuff comes down to like, what do you do? Where aren't you supposed to be somewhere? Like, I think of the pandemic, everybody's like, oh, we got to like go, we got to do something, and everybody wasn't doing it, just sitting at their house, and they're like, yeah, this is not.
Well, there must be a better version of this in your life.
Has to be.
There has to be. What? When is the last time I realized I was thinking about it this morning as I was kind of like putzing around in my bathrobe and at the Starbucks,
the beer in your
drinking
pocket.
coffee, and I thought to myself, it's been a while since I've been on a real job schedule. That is, the alarm goes off, you get up, and you're always fighting it a little bit, like a hustle. There is no, you're not going to stop and watch Fox and Friends for 40 minutes. You're on the clock. Like, you get up, you're going. And every time someone says to me, "Oh, you work so much," I go, "No, I don't, because I don't feel that schedule, the alarm going off and where you're going." Like, when I had those jobs, like especially construction, you got up and you were running to the kitchen and eating granola and
a ham
hustling
sandwich.
down to the whatever. And
He didn't have money for ham.
it was
sorry.
But it was always a bunch of shit I should have done the night before that I just didn't do, and I was just hustling to get out. And when is the last time everyone has had one of those jobs?
Gina had the radio schedule.
Right. Well, besides the morning show, 100% working on Rodeo over at Hugo Boss, and from my shitty studio in Echo Park with the chickens and the roosters and the gangbangers, trying to get from Echo Park to Beverly Hills every day was tough stuff. And and you don't feel like an adult because it's very like time to lean, time to clean, and I'd always get in trouble or written up for being late, so it was the worst.
To that point, I remember before I was doing the morning show with you, it was a cobbled together schedule of screening calls at K-Rock in the morning, coaching high school football in the afternoon, and maybe screening calls at Loadline at night. But that was, like that was regimented. It was the same time every day.
Yeah.
It was fun, but it was still, had to be here, had to be there.
I taught like a 6 a.m. boxing class, and I wasn't a morning guy, but whoever takes a 6 o'clock boxing class is a morning person.
Can't hang.
And those fuckers are there. And you can't.
They're ready to go.
You roll in at 6:07. They're rip shit. I mean, they're hanging out. Like, they're waiting for you to show up.
Burning
and
daylight.
they're all those fucking hyperachievers who are like, then I go swim laps, then I go walk my dog, then I go to work. I have to be there at 9 or whatever it is. But I hated that schedule, but I always knew there was a group of people hanging around, and you could not roll in. That was like big time for them.
If you're on time, you're late.
Right.
You know the sick irony is the most recent example of that for you, or the closest version is probably the cruise.
Yeah.
You had to be up at a certain
to get
time.
up for the cruise.
Yeah, sort of.
I'm saying it's a weak version, but it's probably the closest.
Well, didn't I always thought like on the road as a comedian when we were and especially if you're going to work or like, I thought let's just do this. If I had to get up early, let's just do this fast and get through this stage of life so I can get better, not quit. You're like, I worked at landscaping when I was in college. It was like I had to wake up at 5, be there on the truck, and I was like, oh, I should like be the best at this so I don't have to do this anymore. Not
smart man.
Or like let me go to college, or let me try to show up earlier and be the manager.
And move through it.
Move it and go on the road as a comedian is the same. You got to do those one-nighters in those terrible cities. You're like, I'm gonna just do 100 of these, so then I can be the headliner at the clubs instead of I'm not gonna do these anymore.
Well, it's an interesting mindset because I always had that. I was like,
so did I.
When I dug ditches, I was like, I'm outside the house digging ditches. I want to get inside the house doing finish carpentry.
So dig the best ditches or figure out a better way to dig the ditches versus I'm going to quit digging ditch. That's not the answer.
Right. But, well, it is if you have a choice. I suppose there's a certain. I mean, let's not underestimate the role of desperation in one's life and path towards success. Like. Digging ditches is the worst job ever, but I didn't have an option of quitting. So I was like, I'm going to do the best I can and get myself into that house and not have to.
But you didn't show up at 6:05. You were on time every day, right?
I was, when I started, I had a guy who would pick me up in his VW van and take me to the job site because I didn't have transportation. I just got the
tough.
I got the call from my buddy John on like a Tuesday night. Like, you want to make $40? I'll come pick you up at 6:15. And I was like, okay. But
sounds
yeah,
gay,
we had a lot of. I had a lot of when I was
very humble brag.
when I was remodeling the box factory in Gardena. The guy picked me up was Russ, the drywaller up the street, and he would just be like, "I'm pulling up your driveway. I'll be there at 6:10. I'm not honking. I'm not doing shit. I'm just pulling up the driveway.
I might stop.
Maybe I'll stop.
Roll.
But if you're not standing outside, I'm just going to back up and fucking leave."
Well, the guy, if you're going to Starbucks, if you work there, you got to clock in. If you're sitting in the lobby on the computer, if you can press snooze 5 or 6, I'll get in there. I'll get in there when I get in there.
You worked at Chick-fil-A, right?
Yeah. I did.
How was that? Everyone loves. All right, let me say something. I went from 0 to age 43 with nary a discussion of a chicken sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
In this country, it wasn't a thing.
Right.
You go to McDonald's, you get the Big Mac, you get the Quarter Pounder. Of course, In-N-Out was always an option.
Sure.
Burger King was. Nobody discussed chicken sandwiches.
No.
It was not a thing. The only outlet or the only franchise that had chicken sandwiches was Carl's Jr. had a barbecue, like a skinless breast,
for
like
lunch.
a grilled chicken sandwich.
Right.
Not for breakfast.
Now something happened in the last 15 minutes where America is addicted to chicken sandwiches. And when they do that thing where they go, the Chick-fil-A guy, he's a pagan who ritualistically kills.
Dude, I heard that.
It's going around.
I know, it's
they go,
terrible.
I know, but it really makes us such a good chicken sandwich that we can't boycott. We can't. They tried to boycott Chick-fil-A. They couldn't do it. People, the hook was set in. Good trapper. It was deep, and everyone needed chicken sandwich. But I lived here my entire life. Nobody said shit about chicken sandwiches for 45 years.
Is that the power of Chick-fil-A? Because they weren't here for your first 45 years.
Oh, they weren't even in California.
They expanded.
I grew up in the South. They've always been.
Yeah,
but they
they're big
didn't
in
come
the
here.
South.
Yeah.
They weren't here.
Now Popeye's
and
trying to
now
take them down.
Everybody has to have an offering, and like the Popeyes will do one, and a fist fight will break out in the lobby because they ran out of chicken.
That's
it's like people are physically throwing down over chicken sandwiches. They didn't do that over burgers.
Can I give you?
Don't get me started on hot dogs. Hot dogs don't even exist anymore. That was like, you want a hot dog or do you want a hamburger? That's how life works.
Hey, stay at the baseball. Stay at the baseball. Stay at hot dogs. Don't come over here
I
for
hate
lunch.
to shit on your point, but I live next to a Wiener Schnitzel.
Damn it! Yeah, but even they got to just start making all their
No, that's
chili
true.
fries and everything.
And I don't think it's a conspiracy theory. I think this was a thing in the last couple years. I think people are actually pushing chicken sandwiches because there was a cattle shortage. So I think it's
truth comes
maybe
out.
not. But I remember them
That seems
being like
impossible in this country.
Sounds like small chicken to me.
small chicken. That's right.
Big cow pushing small chicken.
I mean, in my lifetime, somewhere in my adult lifetime, they started putting wheels on suitcases.
Yeah.
In the whole existence of time, not once was anyone like, let's put some wheels on this thing. That's in the last 15 years.
Everybody of a certain age, Dawson, you can close your eyes and hear the sound of that corrugated metal bonderized trash can being dragged across the asphalt to the curb like a as a matter of fact, I was so Pavlovian when I was a kid. Like, I'd hear it coming from the neighbor's house. I was like, oh, shit, I got to go where the trash cans. I got to go get those cans.
Oh, you're right.
When I was 11 years old, we had horse stables behind my house, and my mom got us riding lessons. And I was on the back of a horse, and someone was dragging that metal garbage can up their driveway, spooked the horse. I got bucked off, foot caught in the reins, and dragged around the rink a couple of times because of that goddamn garbage can.
For bringing it up.
I will never forget that sound.
All we had was those tetanus shots waiting to happen. With the weird, they were heavy stuff with
100%.
like pus would drain through the bottom of them and stuff. We had plastic and wheels for 100 years, but nobody thought. When I was a kid,
that is wild.
My stepdad constructed a little flatbed cart with some wheels on it and a piece of rope so that we could put two cans on it and drag the sled.
Rudimentary.
But yet, just like the luggage. Nobody thought, why not put wheels on the fucking can?
Yeah.
And that's 15 years. What, 10 years?
Well, and they thought they all figured it out with just that stupid strap on the tall, skinny luggage. And if you try to drag it through, it would fall over. But now we learned you do it at the top.
And now there's 4 because you can spin it all the way. It doesn't even have to go this way.
That's right.
We had, first off, the Romans had carts.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
You know what I mean? So the wheel and this notion of pulling something with a wheel on it.
The rickshaw's been around for 5,000 years.
Well established.
Yeah.
Well established. Yet the trash cans were just these metal
And
hulks
if you go
that
to
would drag. You couldn't carry them. You'd break your back.
You go to like Miami. I went to like on the Star Island, the tour of all the that's J-Lo's house. That's Alex Rodriguez's house. Like, who's that? The bigger one that's 10 times as big. Like, oh, that guy put the wheels on the like that. Those
he
guys
invented that.
Oh, that guy made the retainer. Oh, that guy made the stuff that's in toothpaste. You're like,
I'll tell you,
he
that
invented
guy
fluoride?
Yeah, and that guy's house is 10 times bigger.
The most shame I've ever experienced as a youth. I told you guys this, but it's been a while. With the metal trash cans, at some point, if you won't do the dignified thing and realize that this thing with the rusted out bottom that's falling out and the side that's dented, if some point you won't go full old Yeller with that thing and just put it out of its misery, the garbage man will.
Oh, boy.
He'll make an editorial decision at a certain point, and as he's spilling it, he will let go. And he's like, I'm going to do what you're unwilling to do, loser family.
Yeah.
I am going to deep six your trash can.
Old Yeller.
We had no money and no dignity, so it's like, I'd put some duct tape on the bottom of that thing. It'll work.
Fine.
You know, it's fine. The guys who slung the trash back then, Scatman Crothers would go, enough. Enough, loser family.
How shaming for you.
Now you're forced to go out and purchase, unless you just want to use your smock and carry the garbage out there, which I'm sure my mom considered.
But if you carry 4 bags of trash, it's heavy. And you're like, let's put it in this bigger thing. Who is like, that's gonna be 4 bags?
Yeah.
It's like quadruple the weight.
We didn't even. We were pre-bag.
No.
Yeah, the
It just goes right in the can.
They had it would go right in the can.
Yeah.
Really?
Back in the day, Hefty was starting to come around, and also there was the man from Glad.
Yeah.
It was a commercial about some futuristic man who had
up-and-comer. He was an up-and-comer.
liners for your trash
Who invented
can.
a bag?
No one is going to need this.
Invented a bag.
way.
I don't. Speaking of evolution, I don't feel like the drawstring showed up in the bag for
the
28
That's
years.
the twist tie.
I'm talking about to pull it out and
Oh no,
tie
I
it
know.
up.
Yeah, but back at least when we were kids, it was all about trying to get the top knotted off for the twist tie.
Oh, really?
The little green
on the
little.
the zip tie weird thing.
Just
was
a
it
little
twister
green
on a full size bag?
Yeah, because when my brother, that you had to like sell trash bags for the football team or whatever, and you got.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah.
Don't just throw that out like we're gonna be like, okay.
You know, like your school tells you, like, go sell these summer sausages.
like candy bars.
Yeah, no, trash
That's a more
bags.
common
They had to
example.
sell trash bags, and you get a roll of trash bags and a line of twist ties.
Because the thing with the candy bars, which I failed at, or the summer sausage, is the poor kids like me would go home and eat that
Right,
shit.
delicious.
Yeah.
So we need something that can sell that they don't want,
That's
and
exactly
it has to
right.
be as non-sexual as humanly possible, because these are 12-year-olds.
Find a way.
We did cookie dough, but we didn't have it in our hands. We took the orders and then we got them at school a month later and then delivered them.
You couldn't get high on your own supply.
Yeah, a Christian school.
Yeah, the man from Glad was a commercial from the 70s, and it was this like, futuristic kind of space guy who was talking about. He's kind of Dick Tracy, had like a little hovercraft or something, and he was talking about the virtues of trash bag liners. So yeah, we never had.
No,
we grew up with you put your shopping bag, you'd put your paper shopping
Right.
bag
keep those.
in for the trash can.
Those are runny.
Well, they are. So what you would have to do is you'd have to have like the plastic bag for like the fruit rinds and the eggshells.
For
and
compost.
everything
Tiny
was
little
all,
bag.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe they had the slightly bigger.
like a
market
grocery bag.
Yeah.
Wow.
The kind you'd put your tomatoes in, and then they'd put it in the
the
plastic
clear one.
bag.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So consumers had to be coached up that a bag goes in a trash can.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We.
Somebody goes, yeah, we're not doing that. No way.
Oh, the Glad. This is not the Glad trash bag. You got the man from Glad the wrap, the plastic
it's a
wrap.
Saran wrap.
Oh, maybe they expanded into bags. Took their petrochemical company and expanded it.
Man from Glad. Man from Glad.
There he is.
Man from Glad.
Oh, this is from the 50s or 60s.
Man from Glad. Young wife going home to mother. I'm North
This is
Adams.
man from Uncle?
Yes,
That's
Mother,
some
I'm
parody?
leaving Harold. He was very rude. He said my lunch sandwiches were so stale even the birds won't eat them. Oh, I can't talk anymore.
There he is.
Here's your trouble, madam. Open-top sandwich bags. Let sandwiches get stale. Try Glad sandwich bags. The plastic bags with the full lock top.
I'm
Fold this
kinda
flap
into
in.
this.
This
Let's see how
flap
they
over.
lock it.
The
Yep,
full
yep.
lock top locks in
Before
sandwiches.
Ziploc.
Locks in freshness. And 75 Glad bags cost no more than 50 open-top bags. Full lock top, 25 extra bags. That's freshness plus.
Why, you've practically saved my marriage.
He's
That's
going to
my
be
job.
balls deep in her in 20 minutes.
For freshness
Wow.
plus, try Glad.
He is a
Now
specimen.
we need one from the 70s
That's
or the
tough.
80s, because that wasn't the one. But he's still the man from Glad.
Wow.
Wow.
By the way,
Breaking and entering.
It was a.
What are you doing in here?
It was a better time in this society. Like I've said, there were. The tweet that pisses everyone off is I say there's more men that now wear bracelets than eat stew. That seems to anger guys, but I think they wear bracelets. Yeah. But every house back in the day had a Dutch door in the kitchen.
Like the saloon door?
Yeah,
the top and the bottom.
The top and the bottom.
That's
you could swing. You could swing the top out.
I see.
Yeah, it was a simpler time when you would just open.
That's badass.
It said it sort of said to the world, "I'd like to communicate, but not that much."
Right,
coming
don't come
outside.
on in.
I got things to do.
I'm not going to commit to putting on pants, but I'd still like to see my neighbors. Yeah, all the kitchens and all the sitcoms in the 50s and the 60s they always had that Dutch. It was in every kitchen. There was a Dutch
one of those
door.
Forever.
You needed it for the nosy neighbor.
That's right.
Who peeks in.
Right, and you're trying to block them as they're looking in.
Something smells good.
It was really just a door cut in half that had two hinges on the top and two on the bottom, and never quite sealed right. It was probably easy to break in.
In church at the nursery, when you drop your kids off, that has it because you don't want you want to get the kid in.
Keep the kid from getting out.
That makes sense.
We went from Dutch doors to security screens, and that's a bad sign, as a society.
Not good.
Sorry, you have another man from Glad?
Yeah, this one has like a weird filter on it, but it's the only one on YouTube. So you're
all right. Is he flying his?
Ooh, what is that smelly stuff?
My special salad dressing for tomorrow's party.
Not in my refrigerator.
Man from Glad.
Oh, he's flying in.
On a
Simmer down,
raft.
madam. You need Glad wrap.
It's the same guy.
To handle easier. Seals tight.
It's his Aryan brother. The original guy's in Argentina right now, working under a different name.
Seals tight. Easier to handle.
Anyway, that's back when they would just. Someone would have like 3 martinis at an ad agency and just shit something out, and it would have a 28-year run.
Say no more.
Yeah.
Like the Maytag man.
Yeah, just here's our commercial.
Yeah.
Mr. Clean is he's still going strong.
He's still around.
Big time.
He's CGI now. He's CGI.
Oh, he is?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Maytag man was always bored.
Because no one was calling because it was never broken.
Right, it was never broken.
Bummer.
It's amazing how much delight those things. Hey, quiet, the Maytag commercial's coming on.
We didn't have the man from Glad. My era was hefty, hefty, hefty.
Yeah.
Wimpy, wimpy. Yeah.
Right.
Because the bags are wimpy. They'd break, but the hefty bag.
Hefty cinch sack.
So did you get fired from Chick-fil-A?
Yeah. I got fired. So my parents, my dad was a pastor. We grew up homeschooled in the South. So we weren't allowed to work anywhere else because as a Christian, Chick-fil-A is Christian.
Oh, really?
We know.
Yeah.
Under the cup.
Yeah. So I worked there because my youth pastor worked there and like all of but one time I tried to, they were like lemonade, when they serve lemonade, that's like their thing. I went back to make it and there was like, it's water, lemon juice and sugar. I got the, 5 gallon, I get the water, got the lemon juice, got the sugar all in there. I couldn't find the stir. Yeah, so I just like the
arm went in.
and then he saw me and I got fired.
Oh wow.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like he should be written up for that.
I had multiple before
Fractions.
that. Yeah, I was
this is the I got 7 years for stealing a bag of chips.
Like,
and then the murder and arson rap as well.
This is what they got you for, but
came before that. Yeah. Would you when you now? Trying to think, because like when I worked at McDonald's, I had to work the grill.
Yeah.
And my cuticles always smelled like onions because they didn't have gloves, and I was constantly just standing over that grill.
You don't wear gloves?
No.
Wow.
Okay.
No, that was sort of pre-trash bag and pre-glove.
I'm not wearing gloves.
Yeah, and I would just stand there and make burgers all day, and it kind of I would still like McDonald's, but not really.
Right.
Like it kind of got me off of McDonald's.
Yeah.
I don't know if Chick-fil-A did that.
I had
for
to take
you.
a break a little bit. Because it was like, man, this is like every day, but I love it now.
What were the rules? Like our rules at McDonald's were maybe you'd get some sort of half off employee something if you wanted to buy a Big Mac or something. I mean, it wasn't. They didn't give you free food.
It wasn't a buffet.
Well, I remember there was did you guys do the thing with like, if you worked late at night, because we had a Papa John's next door. So we go, hey.
We'll trade.
Yeah, we'll give you a 10 sandwiches if you give us a large pizza. But I don't know how I don't know how the accounting on that worked. I think it was just like because I remember dropping a chicken breast on the ground and that coming out of my check.
Oh, really?
Oh
Yes.
my God.
Yeah, because that's like a.
Jesus.
I don't know, but that's the most expensive thing, a breast of chicken.
Sure.
It's a whole 67 cents.
Yeah, or what? I don't know what the hell.
Was your dad devastated when you were shit canned
Yeah, it
from
was tough.
Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, well, yeah. It was tough to at the church. I had to report in. They were like, "Hey, he's unemployed."
Oh, really?
Well, I just had to be like, because I was 15, so I just had to be like, yeah, I couldn't. That was my first step into debauchery, and then I became a comedian, and here we are.
It's always weird. I'm always so interested because I grew up in a completely lawless environment. Like the whole my parents are atheists essentially. We're just like, do anything you want. We're not going to give you any money. Those are the rules. There's
Right.
really
But if you had money, you could do whatever you want.
Yeah. Or do whatever you want without money.
Do whatever.
Don't bother us.
Don't ask us for money or for rides or for any shit. And then, but we'll be consistent. There shall be no rules. We're not going to provide anything. We're also not going to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
And so it was sort of ruleless, my land, and you would just kind of trial and error, just kind of figure it out.
Mine was the exact opposite. A lot of rules.
Lots of rules.
Tons of rules. Well, we were so at the church, like you had to go. A lot of the rules were presenting well. Like you have to have your hair cut short, your shirt tucked in, say please and thank you. But like kind of, if you're up in your room and you, let's say, found a Playboy or something, that's just as long as it doesn't
affect the presentation.
Yeah. That may or may not have been communicated directly, but that's kind of
That's how you felt.
just if you're doing something, just like you could never smoke a cigarette. That's that's the cardinal sin.
Right.
But
he grew up in the Brady house.
But you could
pretty
sneak
close.
one, just not
one of 8 kids,
not be
Whoa!
seen.
Yeah, one of 8.
Which
kids.
one are you?
Third.
8 kids.
Batting third. That's good.
Let's go, baby. Yeah.
DH.
Well, like Conan is like one of 8. Jim Gaffigan is like one. They're right that middle of the big one. It's like pretty common to be like the comedian. Or like
starve for attention.
Yeah, I can't do this, man. I gotta come on. Yeah.
It's funny if you grow up. So if you grow up with a ton of rules, then you'll push back against the rule, rebel against the rules. But if you grow up in a ruleless environment, you'll actually seek out rules.
Yeah.
Like I loved football because all football is really one big rule.
Yeah, regimented.
Like, here's the play, here's the snap count, here's what you got to do. You got to do it all at once. Everyone's got to clap at the same time and break the huddle and run to the line. It's like rules. That's what I
wanted some organization.
You do, because you're basically like a dog that's just shitting everywhere and chewing up every piece of furniture, and eventually you start gnawing on your own thigh. Like you don't think you want it, but you want the crate in the corner. You need to feel safe. You need to, like that's how kids are. So
but if you do, like I remember going on a mission trip, a mission like down to New Orleans. We went down there to serve in the inner city or something like that. And they said, I remember I was probably 16. They go, hey, they had these bikes that what they say, as the church, you can go anywhere in this town but Bourbon Street. I'm 16.
What am I going to do there?
Where do you think I'm going first? 100% you're going. There's like girls, topless women down there. You're like,
thank you.
I'm going there immediately.
Thanks for the recommendation.
I've been through that town, and it's Bourbon Street and above ground cemeteries.
Yeah.
That's all they have.
Yes.
It's like all they have is crypts and Bourbon Street. Like because the seawater, they can't dig a hole and drop you into the below sea level. So it's like there's a funeral hall, and there's a cemetery, and there's another, and it's 300 years old. So all this is cemeteries. That's all back. They wouldn't cremate people and scatter your ashes. Like that's where a guy who died 200 years ago is buried. And then there's Bourbon Street
right next door.
So that's all you got over there. That's all you had.
They never said like avoid like drug areas or like violent areas. They go wherever you want except like sex. As a Christian is that's the one thing.
Did you go to Bourbon Street?
If the first day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you don't tell a kid that's 16 that.
Right.
He's I don't care who you are.
Yeah, that's a suggestion.
But you're saying if you went down there, it would be like, do whatever you want. And then you would probably figure out sooner than me, Bourbon Street is not the place to hang.
You would ironically go find a church.
Well,
you might.
But keep in mind, there's no way I'd ever be down there because someone would have had to buy a plane ticket or a hotel or something. Yeah. So
You wouldn't.
I could do whatever I wanted in the North Hollywood Van Nuys area.
Whatever you wanted.
Whatever I wanted
Yeah.
in a very confined
But there was.
spot.
Do you ever remember your parents being like, "Hey, this area or neighborhood
Whatever
is dangerous"?
you do, don't go to
his
Lancashire.
neighborhood.
No,
Never.
we just leave in the morning and that was it.
And what if, like, I always like to ask this question: how long until if you didn't come home would your parents start to get nervous?
Never a clock.
I
Still
never,
waiting.
I never really.
Still waiting.
Well, I have a little experiment. My sister ran away when she was probably 14, and I think they called one of her friends' houses or something. But
At like night.
It was old. She was 19.
at some point, she wasn't coming home, and
Like a couple days.
probably that night. But then once Jenny didn't know anything, well, that was
And we tried.
gotta go to bed. Street lights are on.
We'll figure it out in the morning.
We'll figure it out in the morning. Yeah. No, you could do what you wanted.
Yeah.
But like I said, there's a downside to that.
Yeah.
Especially cash flow. Because when you're 14 or 15, you're just strapped all the time. And I should have had like a paper route or something.
You
But I
wash
didn't.
cars every once in a while.
Yeah, I would work to earn some money to buy like a used unicycle or mini bike, or I'd have to have a goal.
Right.
Yeah. So like, I've told I think probably 1 million people that thing about turning left on red arrows.
You must do it.
I've told everybody. I go. So once we started to have money, once I started, and then they're like, oh, the penalty for speeding is now gone. The penalty for parking is now gone. The penalty for, like, Dave Chapelle just smokes inside.
I know.
He goes, what? And what's the ticket?
Right.
$200.
Cares.
Okay.
Yeah,
So then you're like, why not do anything?
I think we were talking to, I can't remember if August said it on the air, but I can't remember if he was talking about Leno or Seinfeld. But he was talking about one of them anyway, Flappers in Burbank. It's up the street a mile and a half. And we're talking about parking. It's like it's always kind of a little rough. And it's like Leno, or maybe it was Seinfeld. There's someone who plays Flappers. He just parks in the red zone out front. He's just like, okay.
the Comedy Magic Club. Leno goes there every Sunday.
But now that
Not
place
anymore.
is closed.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
But the point is
He doesn't care.
what's $42 to
Right.
Jerry Seinfeld
Right.
Yeah.
versus finding a place to park?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And if
Just
they were
get
like,
a
hey, this
ticket.
parking spot is $42, you'd be like, done.
Steal.
He would do it. All right. We got the news coming. First, let me hit Alcam. Life comes at you fast. Close calls, fender benders, break-ins, carpool karaoke. Blink and you'll miss it. And that's why you need Alcam, the leading, always on personal vehicle security system, and dash cam looks out for what matters, day or night, in and around your car and off the road as well. Alcam Classic 5.0, real-time connectivity, and live view, dual HD cameras, AI surveillance and alerts, interior infrared night vision, two-way talk, always connected, even when your car is off. Secure video storage in the cloud, 160 gigabytes internal storage, by the way. Your video can only be seen and shared by you with friends or insurers, especially if you need it. Alcam helps you tell your side of the story. It's important in these turbulent days to get Alcam, right, Dawson?
Using the code Carolla20 gives Adam Carolla listeners $20 off any Alcam 5.0, 1, 2, or 3 camera pack. Shop at alcam.com/Carolla and use discount code Carolla20 for $20 off.
All right. Should we take a break and come back and do the news?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Give me the news with Grad, news with Gina Grad, breaking viral, weird crime, protest, politics. Give me news with Gina Grad, stuff they saw on TMZ, Joe Biden, Kamala. Meet news with Gina Grad.
The news with Gina Grad.
Hold on.
Yeah.
John, you've opened for Dave Chapelle?
I have.
It's interesting. I
got a
always,
way bigger credit in there. I think you're missing, but go ahead.
let's see, Seth Meyers, Jeff Foxworthy. We mentioned the Chick-fil-A
No,
thing.
bigger than that. My biggest credit, I was in Roadheart.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I should have known that.
That's not on there. It's not on there, but I was the comedian that I was in that scene at Flappers.
You were
I won.
beardless
No,
at
I
the
won.
time?
I won the
the competition
to
to
be
see
the comedian.
who could be the
And I was in
comedian.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Yeah, like I knew I recognized that guy. Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome.
No, but because my comedy and yours is very.
You have to get out of break.
Simpatico.
He has hypervigilance.
And
so
you've talked about
notice.
you guys have talked about my bits on the show before, and I would win this if I submitted to this. I promise you. And I was
Wow.
on it. Yeah.
Oh,
it was like
great.
one of my proudest days. When was that? 5 years ago? 10
God,
years?
maybe 8 years ago. I'm trying to think.
I remember I went to the Hollywood whatever movie theater
Yes.
and I watched. It was awesome, dude.
It was about 6 years ago because
Yeah.
I think I had just started.
Yeah, it's hard to tell with movies if you make the movie because you start writing it so much
you don't know when it
beforehand
comes
and you're
out.
trying to whatever, and it's the process gets kind of blurry. But I still say opening for Dave Chappelle is much bigger.
Probably.
But Dave Chappelle's a perfect example, not for himself, but you brought up smoking, but how we work as a society.
Yeah.
Right? So Dave Chappelle, and I've talked about this a million times, or Snoop Dogg or whatever, with weed, it's like, or it works this way with apologizing, the people that don't apologize. Like Dave Chappelle just smokes.
Yeah.
Now, we are insane about smoking. Like, you couldn't light up here or there at the airport or at the office
People
building
lose
or
their
whatever. Everyone would go
minds.
nuts. But Dave Chappelle has established himself as a guy who smokes. And if you see Dave Chappelle smoking inside the club or whatever, it's like, that's what Dave does.
Right.
It's like, well, is it inherently dangerous then or
Then you're-
not? Or like, what is it
Yeah.
if we can just go, well, that's just what he does?
You just have to be the coolest guy ever to pull it off.
It just shows how we are as sort of animals. You know what I mean? Like,
you know those commercials that it's like the guy's like is talking out of
trade-
here and he's like,
Yeah.
don't ever smoke,
Right.
and you're like, they're so scary, and then you're like, yeah, but it's
then there's Dave Chappelle. Yeah.
This is like the Comedy Works downtown in Denver, the low ceiling
Oh,
one.
yeah.
And that's where he was like, that place was full of smoke.
Right.
Full of smoke. Dude, by the end of his 3-hour set.
And by the way, if anyone has ever seen Dave Chappelle smoke on stage, or you go back to back in the day when it was what you did, like, you'd be on the Ed Sullivan Show and Shecky Green's up there and he's lighting a cigarette or whatever.
Andrew Dice Clay, all the greats.
You can't enjoy a cigarette if you're doing stand-up. You see them, they light the cigarette, and then they're like, so let me tell you a story. Whatever.
Yeah.
There's no good savor the tobacco.
Right.
There's like, it's just burning the
Right.
whole fucking time. You rarely
appreciate
even.
it.
But see, I don't even know if it's for a fact from Dave Chappelle.
Oh,
I think he would like to smoke his cigarette, but it's sort of like you can't. It'd be the equivalent to you
can't.
lighting a cigarette at a party and then somebody handing you a drink and then two people talking at you at the same time. It's like you're not really
enjoying.
It's going to be lit, but you're never really going to get
What
to it.
are the top 3 cigarette appreciation situations where you can really get into one?
It's got to be
lunch break during the winter.
Got to be camping.
A cigarette, not a cigar.
Or whatever, just a fire and a log. I mean, in terms of time to get into it.
I would say still pretty drunk waiting outside for an Uber is
Drunk
a
and waiting,
delicious time.
depending on when the Uber shows up.
They do
but
like a top 3 like beers. It would be like at the golf course, at the baseball park, like a top 3 cigarette that's a good conversation. Like
Drunk and waiting for an Uber.
That's a
And
good
he
one.
just found out, they just texted you and said they're 10 minutes late.
Perfect.
Oh,
That's good
yeah, let me
cigarette
get
time.
one. That's a good that's top cigarette time. Mm-hmm. Maybe if you get what kind of job would a cigarette break be the best? Like a machinist or something, but it has to be. Does it have to be cold outside?
It helps.
It helps.
If it's
you don't want to be
cold.
dirty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Adam has an aversion to dusty movies and things that are dusty.
Don't like
Hard
that.
to smoke around dust.
Yeah. I concur. I used
Maybe
to
ski instructor.
And just taking one on the lift, on
Right,
the lift,
yeah.
on the lift.
Oh,
That's
now
the
we're
spot.
living.
with the vistas and the
Yeah.
mountains.
But then that might be a weed spot. That might be a
That's
weed
true, too.
spot.
All right, sorry, Gina, whatever.
All right, well, we got some big news out of the Olympics. Olympic gymnast Simone Biles has withdrawn from the remainder of the team competition. At first...
She's no good.
I know. At first, they said it was a medical issue, but it's not. She competed in her first rotation on vault, received a low score, was then seen walking off the floor with her trainer. She was then replaced by a teammate on the uneven bars, and I guess the teammate had no time to prep, but did a good job. Simone says she feels fine physically. She withdrew from the competition to focus on her well-being, adding that she wasn't having any fun and that
What is going on in women's
she feels like
sports?
her love of competing in the Olympics has been taken away from her. I have 2 clips from the press conference.
Hold on.
Yeah.
First, I want to give a salute to the guy who named the uneven bars and the parallel bars.
Shout out.
Because there you were dead nuts on. Those are two great names.
So please tell me why my mom calls them the uneven parallel bars.
Oh, really?
She did last night.
Wow.
The uneven, and I was like, so which is it? The what? The one tall, the uneven parallel bars.
I thought the guys did the parallel.
I think everyone does.
Oh, I don't know.
I assume. I don't. Or maybe that's it. I'll tell Marlis.
I feel like the guys do more parallel.
I think you're right.
And they
actually
do the uneven and the parallel.
I always think of the women bouncing their pubic bones against the uneven.
That's the
bar.
uneven,
Right.
but the parallel feels like
Right.
more dude space.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So here's the press conference. Here, first of all, this is Simone explaining what happened.
She withdrew.
Today has been really stressful. We had a workout this morning. It went okay, and then just that 5.5 hour wait or something, I was just shaking, could barely nap. I've just never felt like this going into a competition before, and I tried to go out here and have fun and warm up in the back, went a little bit better, but then once I came out here, I was like, no, mental is not there, so I just need to let the girls do it and focus on myself.
So it seems weird, and it is, but at one point she also says, and it might be the next clip, I might be stepping on it, but she's like, what I was bringing to the table was not going to help us win, so I needed to get myself out of the equation so they had a chance. And this is where she takes 0 credit for her team's accomplishment after she dropped out.
Simone, I'm just interested in your choice of words because you keep saying they're Olympic silver medalists, but you're part of the team. Well, it takes a lot of courage.
I didn't do my job. They came out and they stepped up and they did what they needed to do and more, especially last minute. Suni didn't even get to warm up her floor passes until the 30-second touch. So this medal is all of them and the coaches, and it has nothing to do with me because they did it without me.
Yeah, there's this weird... So here's an interesting thing. It happened to the tennis player a few months ago. He said, I don't want to play.
Naomi Osaka.
Yes, we have created a box that people can have the option to check, which is not feeling it. It didn't used to. My mental health is more important than, or I just the pressure. Or by the way, this thing where it's like somebody coined this phrase 20 years ago. Hey, when you stop having fun, then it's time to quit. I was just like, tell that to roofers or guys who work at Chick-fil-A with no paddle. You know what I mean? Stop having fun. What the fuck's fun about 99% of jobs? So in the past, it's basically the same with the whole kind of transgender thing. It just wasn't an option. And now it's like an option. And so you're getting a lot of people going, let's check that box.
Because the tennis player did it a month ago, and everybody's like, "Oh, I guess we can do that
right.
now."
It's kind of a thing where it's I'm emotionally not feeling it, not enjoying myself.
The roofing didn't have mental health days. You didn't have those.
No, he would take a me day.
I take a me day every once in a while.
Yeah.
Who is the coach of the Eagle? Vermeil.
Dick Vermeil.
Stepped down because he was burnt out.
Yeah, there was you could get. And famously, coaches would do it. They could get burnt out. Right. But that's...
Urban Meyer, basically.
That was and also, all those coaching jobs are always I show up at the office at 5 a.m. and then I'm emptying the trash cans at midnight. Then I go home and kiss my kids on the cheek. And then I come back here at the facility again.
Same thing with Simone, except she's jumping.
You think they're working harder than Simone Biles?
Tumbling the whole time.
She won 4 gold medals by the time she was 20.
It would happen that the coach never saw their kids grow up because they're on the road. But it was pretty few and far between.
Yeah.
Athletes never really talked about their mental state. No. It was you had to roll an ankle. Otherwise, you were playing.
Well, that's what's interesting about her. I mean, because this is a shock. She's the only one that most of us have ever heard of when it comes to the team. And you think, well, that's kind of selfish. What's wrong with you? But like I said before, I think her thinking was, I am off my game. Her vault was horrible. She was not helping the team move forward. So she just took herself out of it so they had a chance to get a silver.
Can you
It's very
imagine
weird.
Nadia Comaneci or Olga Korbut like saying
Teodora Ungarianu.
saying to Laszlo Belafov, of course you'd be executed when you got back to Russia.
Yeah.
Or
I couldn't get enough. I didn't
get
get a nap, and I'm not having fun.
Yeah.
But you know what? I want to focus on myself means there. The individual competition is coming. She's
The floor, you think?
No, because there's the group.
Right.
And then there's the...
You're right.
And so she's saying she's still going to do that.
Interesting.
I think.
That's very
There's a
interesting.
team competition, and then there's the individual.
You're right.
And what she's saying, I'm focusing on myself. So she's not
You could
injured.
be right.
I could be wrong.
Yeah,
I don't know.
We're going to find out.
Also, I don't know. It's got to be rough when going into the Olympics, everyone has already decided that you're going to win gold in 7 events.
That's not fun.
That's got to be a little pressure. Always
Right.
better to sort of come from nowhere and surprise everyone, because going into the Olympics, if she wins gold at all her events, she'll be the most decorated Olympian of all time and the most decorated female. The hype going into the Olympics was transcended gymnastics. She's
huge.
the best athlete
Commercials,
America has.
everything.
She's got to be sitting around thinking about that all day.
Yeah. And when she says, the fun of the Olympics has been taken from me, maybe that's just the pressure from all these people telling her you better win or else.
Yeah.
But it's interesting you say that about the medals, because according to a study out of the University of Iowa, athletes who win bronze medals at the Olympics way happier than the ones that earn silver. And I think you could probably figure that out.
I heard the same thing about kids who get 1580 on their SATs. I was like, that's amazing. I know they wanted to get that 1600.
Exactly.
They're disappointed.
So instead of that first loser mentality, so coming in third place is better. So it seems that happiness or lack of happiness, all about expectations. Silver medalists feel like they could have just won the gold if they did just a little bit better. On the other hand, bronze tends to think, I could have been in fourth place. I might not even be on the podium. So
I'm here.
Right. There's a real relief and accomplishment there, as opposed to, beating yourself up for not getting gold.
Well, I can tell you, as a guy who has made the third place podium in a car race, and then also as a guy who came in fourth in a car race that had 22 people in it. You missed a fucking podium, it's zero.
Right.
It's
Nobody
like
ever
you've
knows
never
your
been
name.
born.
Yeah.
You literally, my kids didn't recognize
Don't even
me. They
look at
hung
us.
their heads
Yeah,
when
yeah.
I walked home. When I got home, fourth, I was just a bit off of third place. Zero. You drink
don't wanna be
warm
fourth.
beer in the trailer. There's no difference between fourth place and 21st place.
You're not going
It
back
is-
home and getting free beers at the bar
No,
in Bangladesh, wherever you came from.
It is
They're
a
fourth.
zero burger.
Don't come home from the Olympics.
Come in third place.
Yeah.
You're up on the podium
Yeah,
spraying
people see you on
champagne.
TV.
Someone puts a hat on you. They're taking pictures.
And
They
forever known as Olympic medalist.
They
or
play
whatever.
your national anthem, I think.
They don't even. By the way, I don't know how this works, but when you and I shall prove my point. The is 68 Mexico City Olympics with the fist, the black glove and the fist, the two brothers up there holding the fist on. One of the black guys came in third.
Oh.
Wasn't first and second.
Right.
Was first and third.
Interesting.
The white guy from New Zealand, Australia, he came in second. Does anyone give a fuck about him?
Lost to history.
And also, they don't do proper podium height. First place is up there. Second and third are the same height. The guy from New Zealand was 5'8", and the other guy was 6'3", and it's that tall guy's hands higher.
That's all we ever see is a torso.
Wow.
You are excited to be on the podium. You're spraying the champagne, and you're celebrating. The difference between second and third is who cares? You're on the podium, but the guy in second, is lamenting. He thinks he should have got the pass and got the win
So
or
Iowa
whatever.
got it right.
Isn't it like the Jim Carrey thing where he was like, you always hope for all riches and success, and once you get all of it, you realize that's the most unhappy because you're like, oh, I have it all.
Right. Now what?
I don't know if it's
hoping for a future and a better.
Right.
I don't, I successfully lobbied to get the goalposts raised several years ago in the NFL. It's understood that I was behind that. My next move is why second and third the same height in podiums?
That's weird. I didn't know that.
Have they corrected that?
That's a good platform, literally, to run
that's
on.
unacceptable.
That's how it is. I mean, like I said, the few times I've been on a podium, it's the same thing. Now,
when Sonny was in 8th place and on the podium,
well, I
was
told
he
you,
same height.
7th was standing on a cookie sheet, and then 8th we had to dig a hole.
Yeah,
I had to stand up and put my son. I had to lower him down into a hole. That was the greatest. Sonny came in 8th. I was like, good, let's get the fuck out of here. No, there's the podium ceremony. Yeah, for the winners, for the guys who can run, for the guys who don't have polio. Those guys, yeah. No, everyone. Look, how is this possible? A podium ceremony for no one's on the...
looked like a staircase.
Just run out there.
Is this the beginning of the Brady Bunch? Not everyone gets a step.
Did you stay for it?
What the fuck? What do you think I'm going to do at that point? I was walking to the car. I had to turn around. Podiums are all second and third are the same height. That's the way it works. When I did, you can find a picture of me in my race podium. If you came in third like I did, or this guy did, but you're a bit taller than the guy who came in second, then you win.
Yeah.
The guy who came in second in my race was shorter than me, so
towered over.
That's what the people remember.
That's what.
Can you tell the difference in color of a gold and a bronze?
Ooh, now we're talking.
Look at my Olympic medal. You
Yeah, especially from a distance.
You got a tan-looking medal. You walk fast.
That's right, shiny.
That's it.
You have some things in common with Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis. And I think you're going to like
This should have been the first piece of news.
They appeared on the episode of Dax Shepard's Armchair Expert podcast, and they talked about their bathing habits. And after Shepard told his co-host that using soap every day rids the body of natural oils, Kutcher and Kunis agreed, saying they only wash their vitals every day. Kunis added that she didn't have hot water growing up, so she didn't shower very much anyway.
Nice.
And that apparently continued with her 2 kids. They're 6 and 4. She said that they never bathe newborns. And now that they're older, Kutcher has a system. The system is if you can see the dirt on them, clean it off. Otherwise, there's no point.
Well, you never hear about Mila Kunis having allergies.
No.
Or getting
Doesn't
flus.
Truth comes out.
Yeah. I was just talking about this, but yeah. So all the rubbing and scrubbing, not good.
But they got it. The rich elite have to start with but I never growing up. They have to slide one of those in. That's why I said they have to slide one of those. I didn't something growing up. So they're like, I'm just like you.
Well, they're interesting because she is a daughter of Russian immigrants, and I think he may have grown up in a trailer park. So maybe they are.
It's probably true. It's probably true.
And
they are the relatable couple.
And by the way, when you hear someone go, I only use, I'll use soap on the junk once a day, but no, that's about it. Go ahead and make that 3 times a week. I mean, you know what I mean?
It's not a daily occurrence.
Yeah.
But it's cooler to say,
Well, maybe we
Still
can
more
get them
acceptable.
as the sort of celebrity couple to go out and beat this drum because it's not been, all I get is because you're gross.
Yeah.
That's all I get.
Johnson
You're
and
too
Johnson.
fucking lazy and you're gross. That's what I get. It's like, it's not.
You can do it. Yeah,
You need
can't do it.
cohorts.
It's not. It's not good for you to be rubbing and scrubbing.
It's
How
not.
could it?
No.
So what's the philosophy behind you're like, I'm not going to drink that drink, but then The Rock is like, and you're like, I should why?
I should give it a
Why
try.
is that guy? He doesn't know. Why are we listening to them?
I'm so glad you said that because I just saw on Twitter a promotional, commercial that they push ahead of LeBron James doing a commercial for I think it's a Mountain Dew energy drink.
Never.
Right.
Has
he ever put one of those to his lips?
LeBron James in a Kia? Never.
That's right.
Never.
Right. Yeah, that was.
Like he says, I have a Kia. It's like, yeah, you have 18 cars.
Yeah. They can be in your fleet.
They gave me one, and it's in the barn.
Right.
Yeah.
What's that? What's his name from the Clippers who also did that? Griffin.
Oh, did
Blake Griffin.
Blake Griffin.
Kia.
Yeah, Blake Griffin. Yeah. I mean, we get that's how it works.
Mountain Dew energy. That's like when the Olympics is sponsored by McDonald's.
Right.
And it's always like LeBron James spends $8 million a year on his body. You're like, this doesn't really line up.
Right.
Yeah.
Barry Blast.
Off-brand.
Tom Brady, all he eats is avocado milkshakes, and he's like, Mountain Dew. We're like, nah, I doubt it.
Yeah.
I doubt it.
Very true. This is something that we've discussed before, but you only discussed it as a theory, and now it's been put into action. NBC News, yes.
You brought up Tom Brady.
Uh-oh.
Tom Brady did kind of get busted with the I endorse this product, but I use this other
did?
product.
Yeah.
What was
but
it?
it was a very Tom Brady way of doing it. I think he was for Aston Martin, but he like pulled up in a Rolls Royce or
Can't do
something
that.
like that.
This
which
does
is,
affect the hoi polloi.
No.
Yeah, I think that was the controversy. Maybe it was 2 years ago or something. We should all hope for this kind of controversy for our kids.
What tax bracket turned against him?
Yeah.
Like if you were like sponsored by like Nike and then he came in with an Adidas, they're like, it's technically not against the rules, but you're like, Adam, they're like, what is he doing?
Right.
I think it was Aston and Rolls Royce, but anyway.
Yeah, poor baby.
Tough.
NBC News reports that a gunman who opened fire and fatally shot one person at a party in Texas early Monday died after partygoers chucked bricks at him. The police department stated that
Definitely not a Jew. Got a leader in the clubhouse.
That's right. It started around 1 a.m. in the backyard of a Fort Worth home, and this guy attendee, doesn't say if he's a dude, became very angry and left. Oh, sorry, he was a dude. That man allegedly returned with a second person, gotten into an argument with people at the party, and shot somebody. But when people at the party began chasing him, he opened fire on them, and they started throwing landscaping bricks at him. The gunman was struck multiple times with at least a brick and pronounced dead at the scene.
Frontier justice.
That's right.
You do hear about all these things where it's like he got into an altercation, he left the party, he got his gun, came back. Do you feel like there should be a little cool down period? Like once you're in your apartment?
Yeah.
Maybe
Maybe
chill
watch
for a
some
little bit.
tube. Yeah.
Look in the mirror.
Yeah, just watch a little Nick at Night.
Yeah.
And then talk to a buddy. Hey, should I go back with the gun?
Yeah. Sleep on
Realize you got a good buzz going.
Yeah.
Maybe,
I'm good. Let's not
maybe
end my life.
discretion be the better part of valor here. Like once you rub one out, sleep on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You feel
See if you
better.
feel
Then
like
make a
shooting
decision.
party
Eat a
goers
ham
the following day.
Absolutely.
There's that story in Nashville. I live in Nashville, and there's these kids doing these YouTube pranks, and they had these. They were in a gas station, and they would come out from behind the gas station with machetes.
Oh, boy.
Real machetes. And this is the South. And the guy, he shot him
Oh, right.
immediately.
your ground.
And the cops go, "Yep, sounds good. See ya." Like
No.
you came at the guys with machetes, and he shot you, thinking
That's a risk.
and he's like, "No, but it was you." And they were like, the cops were like, "Yeah, we've seen enough here." And no investigation, no nothing.
We just have homeless with machetes here, so we live in a utopia. All right, let's bring it home, Gina Grad.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news. Be more like Bryan.
Gina. That was the news with Gina Grad.
All right. Well, I'm going to be in Minneapolis at the Acme Comedy Co., and that's coming up August 27th, 28th. And I'm going to be all over the place. You can go to adamcarolla.com for that. And John, Fresh Cuts Comedy Tour, going to be in Toledo, Ohio, Funny Bone Comedy Club, Augusta, Georgia, Bell Auditorium, and
35 cities.
Melbourne, Florida. Wow. Yeah. So for more dates, just go to the website, John Crist Comedy, CRIST comedy.com.
You got it.
Thanks, John.
You got it. Good to see you.
Good to see you again. So, until next time, it's Adam Carolla for John Crist, Gina Grad, and Bryan. Say it. Mahalo. I'm not going to commit to putting on pants, but I'd still like to see my neighbors.